So just about 9, the big hand is coming up. We'll call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock. And we'll start with our land acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge the Indigenous peoples and ancestors whose lands we now share. And that'll take us down to 2.0, adoption of the agenda. There's a couple of additions under 6.3.2 and some additions in the info package. Anybody have any further additions? Seeing none, I'll get a motion to acknowledge receipt of the agenda with the additions. Councillor Thies, all in favor? Galen, I'm going to call you an all in favor unless you speak different.
Sounds good.
Adoption of the minutes from our previous meeting on February 25th. Any discussion arising out of those or any errors? Okay, Councillor Reese moves to acknowledge receipt of the February 25th minutes as presented. All in favor? That's carried. That moves us down to 4.0 delegations. So with us, we have a delegation from the senior girls volleyball team. And we want to introduce ourselves. So I don't know if we have a spokesman. Typically on a delegation, we have a few people come up to the delegation table, but we won't require that because there's not going to fit, so you're fine where you're at. So we've received your application for some funding. You're going to there's a provincial tournament. For hosting this, yeah. So does anybody have a spokesman that want to that's it, yeah. So go ahead with your presentation. Just introduce yourselves and then give your presentation.
I'm Rena Felicity. I'm Haley Bunton.
I'm Bree Nicholson.
I'm Brett Gresher. I'm Micaiah. I'm Riley Craig.
Good morning. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to the council today. We are members of the Colorado Senior Girls Volleyball Team, along with some of the parents in the planning committee, and Kim Matheson-Lising and David Hyatt, our school representatives. We are here to give you more information and answer any questions you have in regards to our grant application towards hosting the 1A Senior Girls Volleyball Provincials in November. This is an exciting opportunity for our team and for our entire community to showcase what we're capable of on a provincial stage. This is our 3rd year in a row that our team will be attending provincials, this time as hosts.
Provincials are an amazing event that will not only highlight our team skills and dedication, but also bring a lot of attention to our area, our new school, and the incredible athletes who call this place home. We would like to now show you the video and went along with our host for the application. You guys show it, please.
Yeah. Is there any other speakers or is that's kind of it?
We're gonna show a video for them.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Missed that.
Hi, there, I'm athletic director at Colorado Junior Senior High School. And this submission is going to be a little bit different than what you probably used to see because
The architect will work the program. So by January 31st, it will be the brand new facility. Just look at how big and bright it is. We get to start with rosy lights.
so yes, it's true. The facility that we plan on hosting provincials in isn't done yet. Please don't let that scare you away, because we do know that it will absolutely be done by the end of January. Our elementary students will be moving in February, March, and starting next school year, we will be full of students K to 12. Gym will be fully done, brand new, and as modern as it comes. This is the main entrance, the big area where we'll be able to have people lounge about, hang out before going into the gym. It's also where we plan on putting the merchandise sales, should we have the opportunity to do it. We will have our canteen that will be fully stocked and serving people meals to get them through the day. As we move into the gym, you're going to see that it is big and it is bright. We will have one court set up in here. We will be able to pull out our bleachers, give everyone the best viewing experience possible. We have 2 good-sized change rooms, and we will have a digital screen which we can use as our scoreboard. The second court will be at our neighboring school, Rosary School. We will set up one court here. It is full size. The gym has ample space for spectators. And we also plan on putting in some extra bleachers to make sure that we can accommodate as many people as possible. And we do have a good sized scoreboard that we can use.
Hello, I'm Madison Lighting, the principal of National Road. I would like to endorse our school's bid to host the 1A Senior Girls 2025 Provincial Tournament. Our new school opened its doors in September, and we are excited to share our new facility. Hosting an event of this magnitude would be a great way to continue to build our school culture, our school identity, and our school spirit. Maddie is a community known for supporting its youth. The Senior Raiders have a great fan base and many school and greater community members who support this venture. Although our community has not hosted a provincial volleyball tournament before, we have hosted other provincial level events with great success. We are a little community with a big heart, and we look forward to sharing our small town hospitality with you.
Videos, pictures, and our girls' tour of the town's restaurants and hotels have shown you that not only as a school, but also as a town, we are capable of hosting and giving the teams an experience they will never forget. 2025 is the perfect year for us. Not only will we have a brand new school, but our team has made provincials each of the last 2 years. Last year, without any grade 12 girls on the team. Next year's team will be strong, and they really want to thank the community for all the support they have been shown over the years. They want to showcase not only their talents, but also the best 1A volleyball in the province. Thank you for your consideration.
Now that you have seen how we got to host it, we would like to talk about why your support is crucial to making this event successful and beneficial for our entire community. Provincials isn't just about volleyball. It's about bringing people together. One of the most exciting aspects of the event is the banquet. It's a tradition for coaches and athletes, and we believe it's one of the best parts of the tournament.
It's an incredible opportunity for all the teams to mingle. We have fun and connect with one another. This year, we hope to have an incredible supper and dance with the DJ afterwards. The fun we have as a team is a great way to celebrate the sport we love in a way that goes beyond the competition. In addition to the fun at the banquet, we want to make sure we create an event that is enjoyable and memorable for everyone involved. We will be putting together player bags for all the participants. This is something we are really excited about. The bags will contain essentials like volleyball socks and hair ties, as well as other small gifts to help players stay energized and motivated throughout the event.
We'll also be organizing hospitality rooms for the coaches and referees, ensuring that everyone involved has a comfortable and enjoyable experience. These small touches will help make the event even more comfortable for everyone and memorable for everyone. This is a chance to put our area on the map. We're proud of our community, the support we have, our new school, our athletes, and we want to share that with everyone who attends provincials. We want to leave a lasting impression, not just with our skills on the court, but with the hospitality, teamwork, and community spirit.
Lastly, we would like to extend a personal invitation to Reeve Ungarian and any other council members to attend opening ceremonies of the provincials. We would be honored to have you there and represent our county and show support for our team. Your presence would mean a lot to us and help us highlight just how important this event is in our area. To conclude, provincial is an incredible opportunity for our team, our school, our community, and our whole area. We are committed to representing you with pride, passion, and sportsmanship. With your support, we can make this event not only an unforgettable experience for us, but also a chance to showcase our area. Thank you for your time, consideration, and supporting your local athletes. We are excited for what's ahead, and we hope that we can count on your support to help us get there. We are happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Great presentation. You guys are passionate and great ambassadors for our communities. So that's wonderful. So I'll turn it over to council. Any questions?
Do you have any other fundraising activities planned?
One of the girls is heading a movie, so we'll sell tickets. And Ian is letting us take commission from the tickets.
We also had a girl, she ran for a carnival queen. We sold some tickets to some of you.
We did a bottle drive also at the start of the year.
Okay, good.
So I don't know if you see on the application, talk about rec board. Not an application, just on our report that we have. Have you guys approached the rec board for funding?
No, they have not. I can speak to that. We've actually, we're in talks with the rec board for equipment purchases. Like, for example, we don't yet have coverage for the volleyball standards, things like that, refs table, that kind of idea. So when I spoke to them, they were more interested in looking at like capital purchases in the sense that would remain in the community for a longer term. So
Hard to run a tournament without equipment, right?
that's right. We kind of need that before we have it. That's right.
Okay, so you are aware of the rec board and are
Absolutely,
approaching them
yeah.
for equipment, not for hosting this event, so. Well, it's gonna be a great way to showcase that new school and we'll showcase the whole community, actually, but. So any other questions, Kaylin? Do you have anything?
No questions, but very good presentation, girls. You guys did really well.
Okay, well, if you have no more questions for us, and we have no more questions, but what I think I'd like to do, just not being presumptuous, but since we got you all together with your nice hoodies on, if we could get a picture of you guys with council, and in case we, if depending on what our decision is, right? We make these decisions at the end of our meeting typically, so we'll discuss it at the end of our meeting and we'll get back to you on what we decided. But if that's okay, if we could, would that work for council to grab a picture? You want to just do it in front of here or roll the screen up or?
I think they could just stand behind us, speak it that way.
No, not a photographer.
Who's taking the picture? Teresa? Take a picture.
Just want to stand in here. We can stand in here and they'll come out around or hopefully stand up high. And the Reeve has a little something for you. Snug together with them. All the way. Wait, what are you coming? Yeah. Okay, yeah, if you want to go that way. Well, we want, that's, yeah, it's kind of nice to have that in the middle. So they're good at picture taking. So if you guys stand in the middle, yeah, they're on the edge. I'm just gonna, sorry, Kaylin, I'm just gonna put you down for a second.
That's okay.
Lens. Perfect. Oh, wide lens. I'm going to have you girls come in about 6 inches. Yeah. You're not so, yeah.
Perfect. Everybody?
Everyone's smiling because they can't see. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So the team is probably not all here in 23.
Galen back.
All right. Carry on to 6.1.1, item A is the fall graduating class request. Maybe one of them would stay behind for that. So we're switching it up this year. The grad's going to be at the egg hole. June the 27th. Yeah, so this is something we traditionally do, just attend and just bring meetings from the council. I will be available. Let's do. Yeah, Councillor Gatlin moved that send me to the fall graduating class, bring greetings, June 27th, write that down. Any discussion? All in favor? June 27th. We want item B, the RMA spring resolutions, so I guess we should go through these like we've done before. I mean, a lot of them, we don't really make a decision one way or the other until they're presented, because a lot of times the presentation is it makes the decision easier. So let's just go through them. Everybody's got that in front of them. Okay. So the first one, requirement for municipal consultation prior to registration of conservation easement. So this one is, I know that RNA kind of highlighted this one. It's making it difficult for these people developing gravel pits. I don't know if we've got that issue yet, but we may have a day when it's a little bit of overreach. So I would support this one. Anybody got any thoughts? Item, the second one, Minister of Rural Municipal Affairs, that's been thrown around before. And then the driver, he laughed at it when I mentioned it to him. He said, what, you're not doing a good enough job, we need another minister, he said. But it just seems that there's such a difference between the big cities and the rural. That
Wouldn't probably work in one with the red tape reduction.
yeah, I don't think this would go very far. But, I mean, no harm in supporting it, but it's probably gonna die. Number 3, advocacy for exploration of Federal Lobby Association for Rural Municipalities. I don't hear these guys talk about that one, right? But they're actually, the FCM was doing the job. I know Bonneville, they dropped out of FCM, so I don't think they can attack it a different way. Number 4, reevaluation of the wetlands. So I don't know, Charles, has that been an issue? Like, I know I've heard that before, that a lot of these projects get hung up and when as soon as wetlands gets involved in the conversation.
Yes, especially now. It's just getting worse.
Getting worse.
Yeah.
You know. And I get it, I mean, we have to look out to the environment.
Oh, yeah, for sure, and there's new ways of doing road construction that don't have as big of an impact on wetland areas. So.
Anyways,
Anyways,
it's a
smarter.
smarter, so I guess.
Well, 686, that's gonna be built, I mean, that area is notoriously musky area.
Which area?
That 686 highway they built. Yeah.
Number 5. Participation in Integration Council for refocusing Alberta's healthcare system. Well, of course, we want to be involved in it, right? Healthcare is for all Albertans, not just the urbans, so. Number 6, improving the community peace officer support and safety. And we're gonna, we'd say we're neutral on that because we don't have a peace officer, but.
Buy me a safety list or a best.
But yeah, I don't see any reason we wouldn't support that. Number 7, proportional representation on housing management body boards. I never read the resolutions, I don't know what that's about. I thought. Okay. Yeah, listen to me present that. I thought we got about proportional representation.
Probably means you're not gonna support it. Because it's gonna put the urbans with more of a say. Yes.
Say it again, Phil.
It's just representation based on population, so the urbans are gonna end up with more of a say in all of those housing.
Right. So that's. Yeah, okay. Number 8, opposition to the Water Act amendments, lack of consultation. The lack of consultation is always troublesome. We'll listen to it, but I can't see where that'll be a problem to support that. Number 9, water and wastewater system funding. Up to an X amount already. Probably would support that, but I'd like to hear that presented, what the action after. Now, if it's water for waste. Number 10, provincial system for fire apparatus replacement. So this is a big one that. Apparently, one time the provincial government would help buy fire trucks and stuff, and they left it up to the municipalities, and which is okay until they've doubled in price now. Yeah, but I don't know. Provincial government is running a deficit budget already, so I'm not sure they're gonna start buying fire trucks or anybody.
That's ridiculous. In the last, I've been in Canada 5 years. When I got here, it was $300 and something thousand for a fire truck. It's $800,000.
Yeah.
And that's if there's no 25% tariffs on it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can support that, whether it goes anywhere. Number 11, opposition with the Canadian Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act. I gotta hear them talk about that one. Support it. Okay, I'll support that one. Yeah. Number 12, enabling service of offense notices for violent matters via ordinary mail. That's for violent offense. And if we do, we go by mail, we're not doing it personally. Yeah, that's right. Is it registered mail?
But what I've been told is that if you send a letter by normal mail, it is deemed to have been received by that recipient, if that is the address that he put on his ID or his domiciliary supplendi, ethnic supplendi is the Latin for that, then it is deemed that he or she has received the debt. That's what I've been told.
This is specifically related to tickets that were notices of offense, not warning letters. So when you're issuing tickets, they have to be done.
It's registered.
We just don't do that.
Well, we'll see what they say. Obviously, they must be having some issues with it, people not receiving them or. Number 13, exemption of the sale of uninspected meat and dairy. So that came up at Ag Service Board as well, right? The same people presented it there, presenting it here. And that had quite a bit of discussion back and forth, lots of debate on it. So we'll see how they present it this time. I think we supported it at Ag Service Board, didn't we? Yeah.
Was it wasn't the Army or district?
It was that
Okay, was it zone? Okay, was it?
So.
Yeah, zone. Yeah, that's right, that was one of the delegated there. Okay, number 14, public interest oil and gas company. See what we're doing.
Alberta, had a probably on oil gas company.
Yeah, so they're trying to revive that or what? Okay. And number 15, enhancing access to post-secondary education for rural Alberta students. I know NADC is really pushing that too to try use post-secondary institutions we have in the north, so I guess must be a problem in the south too if we plan is presenting this. So I can't see where that would be a problem supporting that. And number 16, decentralized provincial offices to stimulate economic growth. And I think that's come up before too, where we moved all of a lot of provincial offices into the Edmonton and the big centers, and some of these other buildings are sitting empty now. I mean, we don't have any in our municipality, but I know that Peace River, Fairview, they have provincial buildings, and I don't know if they decentralized, if they centralize those services, but I would support that if we get presented. So, oh, anybody have any comments on any of these, or? I mean, we typically kind of just go through them as they present them, and
One intro building their offices, they moved everything out. Now things are moving back to like social services.
I think it's also during COVID, there was a huge move towards work from home from a lot of the provincial government employees. And I think it's the mandate is now to go back to the office.
I mean, I guess I remember years ago, like Manning, I don't know what other, but we had a district agriculturist, we had a home economist, we had an AFSC office. Most things have all been centralized at home.
Spirit River is losing their
Yeah,
AFSC building, and so they're people that travel to Fairview or graduate from that. So what I found interesting, they didn't mention in the they listed all these places that Macomb should have been listed, because they've got a very big like the agriculture's is out like with a lot of their stuff is out in Macomb and Stettler, so I wonder why they didn't mention that there.
yeah, well, this is Lacombe head office for AFSC.
I think most of it can be done online now.
That's, you know, it can,
Still,
I know I
still
was,
like to talk to someone in person.
well, it is, I looked at that at LSI, and it's so confusing online, and if you could have somebody sit there and walk you through it. But, so I mean, I tried Grimshaw, I tried I think they sent me over to Bakerville office, somebody's an expert there, well, they were a little more expert than I was on it, and so. I think people still like that, it's sort of like our land planning, right, they like that person sitting across a desk from them but, okay, well, there's no more comments, we'll just get a motion to acknowledge. Okay, Councillor Becker moves to acknowledge CDRMA resolutions, all in favor? It's carried. Okay, item C is and trade shows, or I guess, again, Easter trade shows coming up. So we just want to make sure we got our schedule filled in.
Yeah, thank you. We got a lot of names, but there's a lot of overlap. So that's why we brought it back. So the council can see where we really need some people and maybe try and fill those spots. Brent, I know that you did say that you are available anyway, but great, we could just make confirm and.
Okay, well, I'll take 4 to 6 on Manning then, so it's open still.
I can take Tuesdays or on Saturday if nobody else. I'm okay with that.
So then that's full.
We still need
Yeah.
6 to 9 on Friday.
Gary's on there, isn't he? Oh, you're talking to Peace River now.
I'll do 4 to 6 Friday.
Instead of 12 to 2?
No, I'll do both.
Oh, okay.
And I'll do, the late one on, Friday, then, yeah, don't have to. So you guys don't have to drive.
Yeah, I've got a question mark here by Lori, but I'm okay with that, because I think Brenda and I both said 10 to 12.
I think I did too. Right, I can do that.
We're going to switch, okay, Lori, I'll do 10 to 12.
So you'll do 12 till 2, Gloria?
I will, I'll do the 12 to 2.
And who's doing the Friday 4 till
Gary.
6? No, 4 to 6.
Oh, 4 to 6. Oh, Brenda.
So Manning Expo Friday from 6 to 9. Brent's on 4 to 6. I'm on 6 to 9.
So Brent or Gary, I mean, you're being gracious to say you'll do the 2 shifts in Peace River, so you don't have to drive. I can do Friday and Manning, so you don't have to drive.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
I don't know. And
So
then 2 to 4 on Manning?
yeah, so Friday
That's
from
me.
4 to 6 is Brent, 6 to 9 is Terry. Saturday, 10 to 12 Brenda, 12 to 2 Kaylin, 2 p.m. to 4 Gloria. And then in Peace River, Friday evening from 4 to 6 Brenda, 6 to 9 Gary. Saturday, 10 to 12 Brenda, 12 to 2 Gloria, 2 to 4 Gary.
Follow that, Caitlin?
I got her. I will make the motion to approve it as discussed if we're good to go.
Thank you. Any last questions? No, all in favor? It's carried.
And I think council will advertise this again, just so people know if they want to time that around seeing their own counselor, they can.
I know that NW SARS put in a booth in too. So I might pull a shift for them too. I haven't seen their schedule yet. I think they sent out an email asking, so for Manning, I'm talking, I don't think they're in Peace River. So Friday, April 11th. 30, 6 to 9. All right, we can move down to item D, general municipal elections, advance vote. Who wants to lead us through that one?
Now, Teresa leaders in that one. She's the returning officer.
So our CAO can't be involved. So in the previous 3 municipal elections, council has made a motion to provide advanced vote for residents. The polling station has historically, we've used the council chambers. It cuts costs and it makes it more localized and helps so that I'm also here if the girls or the people who are actually working the station need assistance.
So what I need from you, according to the Local Authorities Election Act, is a motion, because unless you're over 5 or 10,000 residents, you're mandatory to have it, but underneath you're not mandatory to have it, right? But because of our geographic area, the reason that people, shift work, it's always been something that council has approved that, yes, it would be nice to have more than just one day.
Yeah.
And make it available so that they can come, whether, I think last year we had a Tuesday and maybe a Thursday, just some difference. We might even try to do a weekend this year just to catch those shift working people. So we haven't quite figured out what dates, but if council can make the motion to at least allow us to have advance votes in the county of Northern Lights, that, yes.
Okay, thanks, Teresa. Any questions? Makes perfect sense.
I'll move.
Okay,
That's good.
okay, Councillor Suzuki's made that motion. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Item E, our summer schedule for council meetings.
Can you believe it? We have to discuss that already. It's still white as snow outside.
Yeah, so historically, we generally cancel one meeting in July and one in August. Try to coordinate them so that, one end of July, one beginning of August, so it kind of gives a longer stretch of time off, but I don't know if that's what you prefer, would you have them staggered or?
Well, that is fine, as long as we don't do it too far apart, because we do have NPC and all those ones as well that we are struggling then to get all the approvals approved.
Mm-hmm. I look on the RMA and those guys do their tour, that's usually in June, I think, but maybe it's during the summer. So what did you recommend, Gerard?
Well, July 22nd to August 26th would really be something I can do. Then I can incorporate Josh take leave again. And
So cancel the 22nd?
no, we will cancel the 22nd meeting and the 12th of August, and then if we have to even the 26th of August.
So I'm going for the first meeting in July.
Yeah.
So that's it, so 8, or 20.
Not that that matters, I'm just, if you cancel the two middle ones there, I won't be there at the one before.
Yeah.
What's that?
Which days do you want to cancel, the 8th and the 12th?
Well, no, Gerard said the 22nd and the 12th. But we'll reconsider that, because if we, otherwise we're not gonna see Josh for 2 months.
Maybe you guys like that.
You're not here the 2nd to the 11th.
Not here on the 8th.
Yeah,
So
or whatever day it was, the second. to the
Well,
11th.
you're on the 22nd,
So, yeah,
so if we cancel. If we cancel the 8th. Then I'm gonna see Josh, and then the 22nd, Josh will be here, right? So,
I don't know if council is going away for like long distance, but there's also the Zoom option available for that. But if we can do sort of a knit one, skip one, that'd be really helpful.
Do your choice. So July 22nd and the 12th?
Yeah, 22nd and the 12th, 22nd and the 26th of August, whatever works for council.
no, let's go,
22nd and the 12th.
I think so,
Cancel.
cancel 22nd and the 12th.
You're canceling July 22nd.
Yeah, July 22nd and August 26th.
Which one?
No, I thought we said the 12th.
Oh, the 12th.
Then there's a long stretch in between.
And that's kind of how we usually done it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't want to can't probably see the screen, but we're proposing to cancel August or July 22nd meeting and the August 12th meeting.
Yep, that's fine with me.
Okay, Gary makes a motion. Any last thoughts? All in favor? It's carried. East Regional Energy Committee discussion. Councillor Reese asked us to be added to the agenda.
Yes. So the event in Edmonton there, it was, Energy Committee made a motion to send, you and Reeve from MDPs, and as the event, it was advertised as representing County North Lights. Only the council can send our rep to any event. No outside organization can send you to represent the County of Northern Lights. So this is a procedural issue, which, hoping you acknowledge that this is not a proper procedure. Then you could be there, would be okay if you're there representing the Energy Committee, but it's not. There's a big ban in their County of Northern Lights, so that's a problem. It was right to the Municipal Government Act. No outside organization can send a rep from the County of Northern Lights to any event unless council approves that, which is not the case here. So, I'm not comfortable with what's going on with the Regional Energy Committee in general. We've had issues with, when this company showed up here, we started having issues with meetings. Secret meetings we find out about after the case, a whole bunch of procedural issues since this company arrived here. Now, I don't have to remind you of the ethical issues of this company. There's a long history of corruption and crimes. Their vice president right now is in prison, 43 months for corruption, okay? Now, this council, we've made a priority. We've taken 2 resolutions to Edmonton to try to get this engineering problem, ethics in engineering. We've tried to get this under control. We've taken 2 resolutions to Edmonton, unsuccessfully, unfortunately, but we've made a priority on this. We've recognized it's a problem. I don't have to remind you how many times we've been ripped off by engineering companies on our water line. Over 20 million in the last go around. We're in litigation right now. So I would hope we would be a little bit skeptical when these companies come here and start promising us things. And like I say, this company has a lot of ethics issues. We have no control over this project, okay? We have no control whatsoever. There's a process in place that doesn't involve municipal governments. And I've noticed on the meeting minutes, Scott, now he's a front company for S&C Lavalin Atkins Realis. It's a front company. It's not an Alberta company. They're controlling him. He's a puppet. Now, if he's going to all these meetings, directing the activities, some of it's in camera, I'm not comfortable with this whatsoever. We should be at arm's length in this proposal. We should dissolve our participation in this committee because we have an election coming up and we have to be above board and all this stuff. And is there an acknowledgement that this is proper or improper procedure from this committee? Again, Terry, they cannot send you to this event representing the County of Northern Lights. Right?
Well, they never. I was representing so you're seeing a big banner, and there was a little banner that said County of Northern Lights, and that was the organizers that put that on there, but it's not me that put it on there now, just through the communication, that's the information they had. I had a PowerPoint to introduce myself, and never did I mention it was a County of Northern Lights. It was the Regional Energy Committee. We can share that PowerPoint with you. So that's who I was representing. I wasn't representing the County of Northern Lights.
Anyone looking at the notice for the event saw County of Northern Lights, you're up there with all the other, attendees.
Well, that would be the organizers' fault for putting that there, that they should have put the regional energy committee, but I mean, I only seen that the day that I got to the conference, I had a little QR code on the tables on the card there, scanned that, the agenda come up, and that poster came up, and I thought, oh, I should send that poster to council, which I did. And, yeah, I mean, was I supposed to go and tell them, get that off there and put regional energy committee on there?
Yes, I would say so. Now, if we had had adequate, advance notice of this event, we could have caught that. Also, if we had advance notice of this event, we could have possibly participated in this event. You know, telling us the morning before the event, not, well, no one's gonna drop everything and go to Edmonton on 1 day's notice. You know,
I said it the Tuesday morning, and the public forum was Wednesday afternoon, so that was, to me, that would be adequate time. If anybody was really passionate about going, that would give you.
Well, according to the minutes, you knew about it on January 16th. We could have been informed at our meeting prior. And, you know, maybe you had participation from council. I'm interested in this sort of thing.
I never had, at January 16th, I never had that I was gonna be on the forum. That was only asked after if I'd be interested in sitting on this forum, since I was there already, and I said, well, yeah, why not? I think that I can hide there and representing the committee. I was there anyway.
Well, in the minutes, it shows, your January 16th was, the decision to send representatives, that would be you and,
Not denying that, but I was only as attendees of the conference, not sitting on the panel.
so, it would be nice then, but I would think maybe, policy. If we're gonna attend an event outside of our regular council, you know, committees or anything like that, I would think 24 hours notice, within time that a person accepts that, meeting, anything outside of normal duties, I would think would be fair.
No, I think that's fair, Brent, and, I never really paid attention, but I think that's true, like, it should have only been focused on the rec committee. And,
You don't think it was?
no, I mean, just with the logos. Like, I don't think one of Northern Lights should have been. Like, it should have been a rec committee logo, not. Like, because you were representing the rec.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is evidence of it.
I mean, it's,
So,
to me, it's minor, but
but
it's a point. Like, you know, I'm saying that in the advertising, like, it should have been recommended.
you know. So unfortunately, I don't put the program together then.
No,
That's
I
about-
know. Just saying, I get this point. As far as that.
So, I mean, I'm getting unclear on the purpose of this energy committee. Way things are going here, I mean, it looks like this committee is a quasi employee of this one company, you know, the one industry, one company. And it's not it doesn't look right. We should be arm's length from this process. We should not be out there stumbling for them. Again, particularly with this company's history, terrible history. This company's been stealing from Canadians for 100 years or more. We need to back off from this and let the process, they have a legitimate proposal. That process will take care of itself. We have no place in this. We should not be stumping for this company. This committee's getting way too cozy and the public's starting to take notice. So I'm prepared to make a motion that we suspend our participation in this committee. Period. I don't think it's serving public. That's not what we're elected for. We're not elected to do the bidding of one particular company. There's all kinds of companies in Alberta that provide energy, and this committee should not be working for one company. And this guy's going to all your meetings, and some of it's in camera. I'm not comfortable. So, that's my motion. We suspend our participation in this committee.
So the motion, Councillor Reeve to give a spell check there, suspend participation in the rec. Okay, let's see the screen.
Just want to say that I disagree. I think the committee is here for economic development. So happens that right now there's a company interested in nuclear power, and the whole province is. It's going to end up somewhere. And
We don't know that.
I think, yeah, I think so.
We don't know that.
Well, we don't. No, you're right. We don't know that right now, but I think we need to have a voice there.
Well, and I,
Doesn't matter what it is.
I feel too that they're the only ones that seem to be presenting. I think that we listen to anybody who comes.
Absolutely.
I think it's only them who seems to be. So where are the other ones that the proponents? I mean, if they come to present, we listen to them as well, I think.
Well, so this company is not, they're not spending their own money here. Okay, they have to get their hands on tax money. So right now, they're spending our federal money. They got an $8.4 million gift from Trudeau's government to push this project. They're using our own money right now to sell us on this project. So they're gonna leverage this money to go after the province to get their money. They don't have the money to build this. It's all going to be tax money. And why are we helping them with this? This is not, we're not elected to stump for one particular company. It's not a good look. It makes me uncomfortable. You can all vote how you please on it. But I want to be distanced from this. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't think it's right. We don't work for one particular company. We represent people that vote for us. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, so I mean, you're making the accusation that we're working for Energy Alberta.
That's the perception of the, getting to be the perception of the public. That's
That's
my point.
absolutely not the purpose of the committee. We're not working for anybody. There's 5 municipalities have got together to advocate for economic development, and we call ourselves an energy committee because this proposal came before all the municipalities, and there's kind of great anticipation and excitement, and this committee is not working for anybody. We're only representing, I mean, if you read the statement on the last page of your handout, that's kind of our role. We know where we mention in company by name.
Well, the fact remains that their representative is attending all of your meetings, some of it in camera. It's not a good look. Again, I don't think it's right for one company to get all this, this favorable treatment. Again, there's other companies out there, there's other proposals, maybe not as aggressive as these people, but there's a lot of other power providers in this province.
And we welcome any of them to come.
Well, but the fact remains, this committee is working for one entity.
No, we're not working for them.
Well, this is the only one attending regularly these meetings.
So where's the rest of them? They can attend the meetings too. We're not shutting the door on anybody else.
The committee was formed on the basis of this presentation in Grimshaw from one company, okay? And the fact is, what they presented there was not even reality. They presented that reactor as a thing ready to go. Their own spokesman was quoted in the National Post saying that if they get money from the federal government, they could have it ready to design, licensed, and ready to build by the end of this decade. Well, why didn't they share that with us at the presentation? They presented it as a ready to go thing. It's not. They have to get all this money from the federal government, and they have to get a whole bunch of money from the provincial government, and they're running around spending our own money as we speak. So I don't think I'm uncomfortable with this energy committee is doing. So that's my motion. I just wanna insulate myself from this. You guys can vote if you want, but I think it's improper what's going on there.
Well, thank you for letting us vote how we want. So is there any more discussion?
I just wanted to say, like, I know we kind of briefly touched on it yesterday, Terry, but Brent wasn't there. So I just wanted to just reaffirm my position that I think that there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of misconception in the public about what this project is, and further maybe what the Energy Committee is, from what I'm hearing from Councillor Reese. I think that the Energy Committee really needs to sit down and look at communication and get that communication out to the public and inform them of the process and our position, because no matter what we do, we are already arm's length away. We can't do anything about it, right? Like, it's not our choice. And I'd really like to see the Energy Committee get serious and get ahead of it about, you know, communicating what it is and what the public needs to know frequently, you know, brought up myths and stuff like that, because there's just no information. We have this Energy Committee, but you guys aren't really putting anything out. And I think we need to get ahead of it before the misinformation keeps spiraling.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, just to remind you again, we're not building a plant, so Monarch reactors, whatever reactors they're proposing, that's up to the proponent to you know, their choice. They'll have to answer their choice, whether the Monarchs, I mean, actually, I got one was pass it down. Yeah, I can give it a rent. I mean, the Monarch, what we've been told, is in development stage, and I mean, it's still not out there yet, but it will be ready. And by the time if this project is ever approved, there's 3 years of regulation, a licensing process to go through, right, from Atomic, Canadian Nuclear Safety Association, to the Impact Assessment Agency, to the international atomic community. There's a whole layer of regulations that this thing has to go through. So you'll never see a shovel in the ground if this is ever approved for 3 years. So who knows where the Monarch reactor will be in 3 years? That's not for me to decide. That's for wherever the proponent. Maybe somebody else will come along with a proposal with something else, with the Westinghouse or with a General Electric reactor. I have no idea, but that's not our role. The committee's role is not to decide, oh, you can't build this thing because a Monarch, one of our councillors says a Monarch is a fallacy, and that's not our point. Our position is to be hosts for economic development, right? And I mean, we met before this was ever a thing. We met as regional partners to try stimulate some economic growth. We threw out all sorts of wild ideas, and then this kind of fell into our lap. These guys came in and presented, and we thought, well, that would probably be the biggest economic development that we could ever hope for. So that's where our position is. So anyway.
Yeah, no, well, you're missing my point here, Terry. The point is, the presentation was not factual, okay? They did not present any facts about where this reactor was in the process, okay? They presented it as a real thing. It's only a concept. It hasn't even been designed, let alone licensed. This is a long process. They never shared that with us. They never shared that whatsoever. And so it was a misleading presentation, and speaks to the ethics of this company, okay? It's a problem. That their ethics is a problem, okay? We've had, again, back to our resolutions, we recognize as a problem the engineering industry. And this is provably, well, according to the World Bank, it's the most corrupt engineering company in the world based on how many projects they've been kicked off of worldwide, okay? That's a problem, okay? That's the issue here. This committee is very cozy with this one particular company, and it's not a good look.
So I guess being cozy is a subjective term. I don't know what that really means. Of course, we communicate with them. They're submitting an IPD to the IAA, and there's a municipal component in there. So do we just ignore them, like all 5 municipalities that they're on the committee? We just ignore them and say that they're a corrupt company? And I mean, we're not dealing with the engineers. We're dealing with Energy Alberta, who's presenting to us. You say they're a front for them. Well, that could be. I have no evidence of that.
Well, Energy Alberta didn't exist. All of a sudden they poof, they appeared out of nowhere like a phantom fronting this company, just like last time. Okay, they've never built anything. They have no record of building any sort of energy projects, any kind of energy generation projects. They have no expertise in nuclear. They work for this company, SNC Lavalin and Atkins Realis. They're a front company. That's pretty obvious. Again, we've never built anything. So we have no place in the regulatory process here. doesn't look right to me that, this guy's directing activities at these meetings and all the rest of it. Every meeting he's there. What's going on in camera? I don't know. Yeah, not a good look.
He's just updating us on the project.
Well,
That's why he's there.
he's there every meeting.
Well, he
One-
does his little presentation and
Yeah,
then we carry on.
one company. This committee is working for one company. I don't agree.
You know, we welcome any companies, but just so far there hasn't been any others, right? That I'm aware of.
I don't remember ever forming a committee of any sort like this, multi-municipal, to benefit one company.
Okay, any other discussion? I'll call for the vote, all in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
That's motion is defeated. Okay, let's do one more here, then we'll take a break. Item G, meeting with the Assistant Deputy Minister Tom Liu at the RMA convention. So as you recall, we tried to get a meeting with the minister, and he was, as usual, overbooked and was unable to accommodate us. So Derek, out of the regional office in Peace River, said, well, he'd come to council and meet with us. And I said, well, that'd be great. We'd welcome you to come to council as a delegation. That'd be wonderful. But I really think that we need to, we're in Edmonton. It would be nice to meet with somebody, a higher level bureaucrat, right? So he agreed. So he arranged to have a meeting with the assistant deputy minister, which I think is probably as good as a minister. I mean, the minister has the final say, but I think the assistant deputies and the deputies, they're the ones that do the heavy lifting, right? They're the ones that they pass it on to the minister to sign and say, here, sign this. And so I think this is be a great opportunity and when it's available. And he gave us a couple of different dates, but the Monday date, most of you are in EOEP courses, so that wasn't really very good. So he gave them the meetings between 3 and 4:30 on Tuesday, which I don't have the agenda in front of me, what's going on then. But regardless, and he wouldn't be able to come to the Shaw to meet us. We'd have to go over to the, they call it the Queen Elizabeth building just north of the legislature there. That's a short drive over there. So I think that would be, I think we could accommodate that. Well, in a couple cabs or whatever, but however many want to go, I guess. We're all through the one Uber. So I think we should take them up on it. We have quite a list of colleagues. That's one thing with meeting with the minister, they kind of rush you in and out, you get your 15 minutes and try to limit you to maybe 2 topics at the most. Whereas if we get a longer meeting with the ADM, we could probably go over through everything. And so I don't know that they typically want names ahead of time. Well, Derek actually said that, but I'm sure they will. That's, I mean, that's still a couple of weeks. No, it's next week actually. So we probably should figure out who wants to go.
You see your motion says 3 p.m. to 4:30, but this is 3.
I think he's available during those times and we would pick what time suits us. So no, I think he give us an hour.
That's what I was thinking 4:30, but that week.
Well, but 4:30 might be the end time. I don't know. So if we went at 4.
We go a little bit earlier, we might squeeze him into a little bit longer time.
So make sure you bring your driver's license with you, because they always want to check in that there's security there. Whoever wants to go, so should we come up with a list of names today, who's going to attend, just so we can submit it to them?
And then
So
to add to the list, I would really like Charles to attend as well, and there's space available for myself.
Okay, so there's 2 names, Charles and Gerard. I'll go.
I wouldn't mind attending.
Okay, Brent. Yeah, I can hear you. Brenda,
I'm not going to.
going to attending, folks, that you're out. I'm not going to drive out just for that. Maria?
If there's food for me and.
Galen, are you attending?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll stay at convention though. I kind of wanted to attend that, Between Two Barrels Directors Forum, so, and that's at that time.
Okay, so, you've got off to Derek, before to the ADM's office,
You can communicate that through Derek.
to Derek.
Yeah, that's how we channel it.
That's how it's been going, yeah, sorry, and I don't know if you have Lou's email or not, but just, I'm sure Derek can.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay,
I'll make that motion.
make Councillor Sinski moves that we arrange a meeting with the ADM. Send those listed, all in favor? And it's carried. Okay, let's take a 10-minute break. 15-minute break, whatever you need. If we're gonna get through the agenda in a pretty good time to do. Ready to go again, Karen? We'll recess our regular meeting. We'll turn to our Ag Service Board agenda. Call that meeting to order at 10:13. Any additions to the agenda from anybody? If not, get a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Reese, all in favor? It's carried. Minutes from our last Ag Service Board meeting was back in January 28th. And discussion coming out of those. Not get a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Councillor Reese. All in favor? Carried. Item 4, new business, item 6.3.02, rural services. So item A is intermunicipal appeal committee. Got their wake.
We appointed ours, Greenviews and Big Lakes County at the first meeting in January on the 28th, last meeting. Northern Sunrise didn't have their appointees yet, so it's just adding these 3 people, so it's just a simple addition as Teresa has on the board. Somebody can make that motion to accept it.
So just updating the list of committee members.
Just adding to the list, yeah.
I can make that motion.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Kevin. All in favor? Carried.
See in there?
Next item is Tansy issue washing downstream from Northern Sunrise County, so. As I think you're aware that Gerhard and myself and Blake went over to their Ag Service Board meeting and I tried to plead our case, and then the response letter was probably not what we were expecting, but I'll let Blake speak to it.
Yeah, so basically in the agenda, I just included the previous correspondence when you guys were first made aware of the issue in November 12th. That basically has all the information there. I also supplied a copy of the PowerPoint presentation we kind of sent, outlining kind of the, I don't know, poor communication between admin staff. And then Terry got a letter last Monday or something, last week anyways, March 6th, I think.
March 6th, it was dated.
And if you read my presentation and then you read that letter, it is possibly the most gaslighting letter I've ever read in my life. So with that, I don't really know how to respond because I briefly counted up the sites on the east side of the river that make these little land formations that when the river is dry that we can access from their side. There's about 25 to 30 of them across our whole border, but Northern Sunrise's border is only shared with us up till I think it's the 25th baseline. Just north of Hawk Hills there is kind of where theirs ends there.
Mackenzie County from there.
And then Mackenzie County from there. So with them, we have somewhere between 20 and 25 shared sites. I'm not sure exactly how many of them we can access through private land on their side, but part of the issue is like when I'm a weed inspector within our county, like there's a bunch of legislation that protects us from not trespassing. So basically like we can enter any private land for basically an inspection as long as we're not entering a dwelling, and all of our inspections happen like at a reasonable time. So basically daylight hours. Now, all of a sudden, if we want to try to access these sites through Northern Sunrise County, we're basically just a regular citizen until we get back to our property. So anytime we'd have to access private land, we'd have no access to their database, their GIS system. We're like roll numbers for parcel ownership or information for contact for access. I guess we could use iHunter and try to find people's names and then find contact information and ask for access. But basically, if we're denied access, we have no way to access through the private land, private driveways, private property to carry out these inspections unless we're, gonna expand the ag fleet into like, open water equipment and buy a boat. Yeah, get a river boat and start accessing through the river, which isn't feasible. So that creates a challenge. Obviously, this one site, they basically have a road that you can turn off, and within a couple 100 yards, you can drive to this site. That's why it's a fairly popular recreation site in their area for boating. People have fires or whatever else out there, swimming. So that's where the issues for me is how do we access these other sites moving forward beyond the scope of just this current problem we found? And then the other issues were their management team there at their administration level doesn't seem to want to work towards eradication. So my thoughts are that's just going to keep washing down onto us. And this is just it's already going to be a long battle with the already being there, and it can be long lived in the soil for, I don't know, some reports 25 to 100 years. Coming back from seed, but all more seed that just keeps washing down is going to add to the problem. In their letter, they actually make the comment that my whole proposal was with the pictures and stuff I sent, that it clearly, in my mind, was brought in by gravel, somebody graveling that yard, and then it started growing through the chain link fence. And they started, they chemical controlled the gravel or whatever, graded it and killed the stuff in there, but it started just growing down the bank for probably a bad load of gravel would be my guess. And then sent to pictures of plants of it moving downstream, and then we went downstream to find it wasn't further downstream. And in their letter, they actually say right there, Northern Sunrise County recognizes that the introduction of invasive species can occur through numerous avenues, including upstream movement. So in my mind, the way that is written is them saying you had a tansy and chamomile problem and it moved up the river to our site and infected our site that now we have to take care of.
They swam upstream.
Yeah. So somehow it hitched a ride from wildlife, industrial activity from our property, but it still would address that it had to get there from somewhere. So if it was industrial or recreational activity, somebody from their municipality clearly brought it there. And then even if it magically hitched a ride on a bird and was dropped perfectly at that intake site, but nowhere further south of that, like we probably walked, I don't know, like 100 meters upstream from their site and didn't find any further upstream. So somehow magically the wildlife transported it from our site to that site, but no further south, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's what they're going with. I also found it interesting that they had the meeting that we presented in was a closed meeting, an in-camera closed meeting. Which I never thought any of it. I don't think any of us thought any of it while we were there. But then now that we got this letter, it's kind of like, oh, that's why you kind of wanted it maybe in a closed meeting, in my opinion. But I don't think it really meets the criteria for being in camera, because I read that on municipal affairs, you can go in camera for some intergovernmental reasons, but it absolutely says not to go in camera if it's like a locally contentious issue, which it is. Like we have, contentions about how this is being handled. So that should be public. For some reason, they decided to go on camera on that, which is, I guess, up to them. But with this letter and what my version of events have, I don't really know how to proceed working with Northern Sunrise County on this issue. So that's why it's to you guys. It's, in my mind, it's a boundary issue, a shared common boundary issue, which their ag service board has no control over anyways. Like that would be a council level thing. Like we're obviously, what shocks me about this letter too is we just keep furthering stuff up the chain. first rung is me working with their staff. Fieldmen to fieldmen, other people that do my job in Northern Sunrise County working together. I realized, hey, this ain't going anywhere. Pass it on to Gerhard. Gerhard goes to their CAO. She said, hey, deal with Trent. I don't really know nothing about it. Deal with the ASB. He dealt with the ASB. He felt it went nowhere productive. So then we said, Kate, we're gonna go meet there with me, CAO, Reeve at the meeting and talk to their ASB to ASB, see if we can come to some sort of understanding. It's now went nowhere. I don't know. I don't know what you guys want to do with this issue. I don't think it's like we're straining your guys' relationship on other issues with Northern Sunrise Council, but it seems that it's really gonna go nowhere.
So just back up, so the access is gonna be a problem now, like you can't. I mean, it doesn't make sense for you to drive all the way around and control those weeds, but that might be your only option. Are you trespassing when you go in there with your crew?
Not on this first site, because we can use their public road, and then once we get off the road, it's green zone. So anybody can access the green zone for that way. The province of Alberta actually owns the green zone. So we could actually write the province a weed notice and send it to vacant lands and let them know, hey, you have this tansy problem, and they can control it, but the province being out of Edmonton, it's probably not gonna be dealt with in a timely manner, so you're kind of gonna accept that it's probably gonna be spread and it's not gonna, you're not gonna win the battle on eradication, which to me should be a major concern in Northern Sunrise County because, you know, they own 99% of the east boundary, right? We only own, like I said, 20 to 30 or 20 to 25 of these sites shared with them along the river where it can establish, and we can, once we notified, even if they find it inspection saying, hey, we were here doing it, we noticed it's actually on your 3 acre, we can just take that information and send it to the province and say, hey, it's on vacant crown land, control it as you see fit, right?
Does the province compensate you for weed control on Greenland?
Yeah, so like if we decide we want to manage the site, which we did a little bit last year, we can enter a service agreement with vacant crown lands. They start at about $5,000, so you can bill back services, cost of chemical and stuff like that. That's also what I presented to them was like, hey, there's not a lot of financial contribution or strain on your municipality because you can actually get a vacant crown land service agreement and bill back against it for this site if you guys want to take on management. So like that's one avenue we can do is we can basically just say, hey, you know, we're having issues dealing with you guys getting access, so we're gonna send the weed notice to the province and you guys work with the province. If the province doesn't show up for 2 years to handle it, or, you know, the only problem would be, I guess, if you sent a weed notice to the province and they didn't do nothing by the time the date you put on like your date for action that they have to action be completed by. If they didn't do anything, we then have to look at enforcement, but you know, tansy's a noxious weed, so we can just say, hey, we wrote a weed notice, the province chose nothing to do with it. That's the amount of level of control we wanna invest into that site in the river, other than, you know, if they're gonna become upset with that's the level that we want to take control of it, right? So I was thinking in that meeting we went to, I was expecting like ASB to ASB, you know, we were gonna have some sort of dialogue, more questions, like, yeah, try to get a feeling where they were at, like, what are they willing to do? Absolutely red lines for them, not gonna do. I did ask them, under the Weed Control Act, there's section 9 provides for joint authority, like as a weed inspector, so I could actually get appointed as a weed inspector over there. I did ask them in the meeting, like, if you don't want to go this way or whatever, you want us to look after it, like, I would like to be appointed as a weed inspector over there so I can access these sites through private land. And then I need a copy of your maps, and, you know, if I need somebody's information, I'd like to be able to phone the office and say, hey, can you provide me contact for so-and-so? That's not even addressed in the letter at all. Yeah.
Explain again, how is it that we have these little pieces of land on their side of the river?
Yeah, so on there, the MGA, I read that, it's either 180 or 160, it defines the boundaries. So when you look, every municipality, when you look downstream of the river, the municipality, our municipality goes to the full right side of the boundary of the river. And it's just arbitrary, like somebody just drew it in on GIS, basically by looking where they think the high boundary for the bank is. And then we get everything inside of it to the west, in this case, the way the river runs north. So that we get all the islands, we get all these little sites that are created by sedimentation, because as a river moves, the inside of a curve, it deposits sediment, and the outside it slowly erodes. So over thousands of years, the river actually moves. There is a process for moving boundaries through the MGA, through municipal affairs, to go in there and say like, hey, we don't want these sites, right?
That would be the logical thing to do, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It has no value
It
to us.
doesn't make any sense.
It just seems silly, like why the river isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just putting the burden on us for no reason, right? But
I placed a call with the municipal affairs just to see what the process in that is. The guy phoned me back, left me a message last night, so I called him this morning. I haven't talked to him yet, but yeah, that would be the other option, just apply to municipal affairs to have the boundary adjusted. Like you can even see where that water intake site is. Like at some point, there's a couple miles or maybe a mile there from where that water intake site is, because they want a water intake in the river, and we actually own the river, like they can't go in the bank. At some point in the history, a person could go pull out all the records from municipal affairs, but at some point, somebody, when they decided to build that intake there to draw water out of the Peace River, somebody at municipal affairs already readjusted that boundary, so you can see it actually on our GIS system. Somebody could pull it up and look at it really quick, but you could actually see it goes right along the boundary up out of the river, and then it goes into the river, 15, 20 feet where their intake is.
an exception for that.
Yeah, so like the course of history, you can actually go on the municipal affairs website and pull up all the time somebody had made an amendment. So say the town of Manning needed to annex some land from the county at any point in history to build something, and it'll show you when that was done and who approved the documents. They're all online. So at some point, somebody obviously redrew that boundary. So it's not uncommon for people. And it does say in the MGA, that is the rule unless otherwise specified. So that otherwise specified means there is a way to adjust the boundary, right? But
that's what we should be looking at then, working with municipal affairs, because Northern Sunrise want to work with their funding.
yeah, the only thing I thought too, if we wanted to go that route, maybe we do send them a letter saying like, okay, but we still have this issue of access, potential private property through Northern Sunrise County. So my thoughts are, if we send them a letter requesting that and then they deny it, when we go to municipal affairs, we can say, well, the reason why we're making this request is because they're not willing to provide us, access through that, right? It's kind of like the evidence of why it's important.
Well, and that for sure, plus the fact that it's just not, the logistics of you going all around they should be there looking after that intake station on the fence, right? So why wouldn't they just go the extra couple 100 yards to finish it? It just logistically, I mean, yeah, what you said, if they deny us access, well, that's probably the main card to play, but we can also just, kind of incorporate. Because don't some jurisdictions, the boundary is actually in the middle of the river? I don't know.
I know when I was in the States driving the whole time, like along the Colorado River, we went to Arizona, and there's numerous times there where you're in and out of Nevada, California, Arizona, and one other state there, and their boundary is always the middle of the river. So every time you get halfway across the bridge, Google Maps would be, welcome to California. And then 10 minutes later, welcome to Arizona, right?
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably not gonna be a quick process to get that boundary change, but we can start that. And in the meantime, I guess you'll have to just do your best to go over there a couple times a year, whatever it takes to pick this spray in.
Well, this site, like I said, it would be the closest one to us going all the way around into Northern Sunrise County, because it's basically kind of kitty corner to Mercer Mill there. And that still takes a little over 2 hours to get to, but we have some that are like right across Carcatoo, right? So to get in there, if you wanted to say, try to do an inspection, you'd have to get in there and, get on the East Hall Road and try to get in there and pick a cut line to get down to these, right?
That almost would be river access there.
The other thing is, like, I don't know how much of this you want to bring into discussing with Northern Sunrise, like at the council level, because obviously if you just file this through municipal affairs, at some point they're going to get a copy of this notification, or ask for comment, or if they have any dispute. So I don't know if we want to be good neighbors and totally up to you guys if you want them to hear it from you versus just coming through municipal affairs. The other thing is ICF, like I think ICF is maybe up for renewal and negotiations, and you can bring this issue up on how you guys want to handle services. That would be more at the council level. And then the other thing is there's EdMaps. The province has this thing called EdMaps where just any random citizen, if they find a weed that's on the list, they can post on a site. So anybody could post it on there, and then somebody from the provincial government gets a hold of the county to do an inspection. So instead of dealing with their ag service board directly, if we find issues that look like they're not being controlled, we can just post them right on EdMaps, and then they get a notification to go deal with them, right, on the province's level, right? And then the province at least knows that they have those weeds on that vacant crown land. So they might take maybe a vested interest in following up and making sure they are responding appropriately. That's all I have for information. Obviously, you guys don't have to make a decision today. We don't have to respond right away, right? Like we can respond whenever. Like maybe
So
like,
I see your recommendation was to, develop an MOU. They'll look after the weeds, but I mean, that's tried that already, right? I mean,
was that from my old one?
yeah, November 12th, but,
Yeah, so we already tried that. They basically, that letter is, you look after your own and we'll look after our own, and we did a great job. Basically.
I don't think we want to go to council right now. I mean, the ag service board, this is their responsibility, right? That's what the response was, and I think we have to get you access there to look after it in the meantime.
Yeah, yeah, the only thing with their council is it's a boundary issue, right? Which would be like a council level.
Once that process starts, for sure.
Just a question, would that be for the ag service board to grant access, or would that be a council decision to grant access as a weed inspector? Well, surely the council appoints the weed inspectors, or is it the ASB?
The ASB is just an advisory committee, so they make the recommendation to council, and then council appoints them, right?
There's some value in presenting, and also being neighboring with our council, because it's like, right, like any but the additional steps we take, we'll get back to that council.
For sure.
That we are complaining to municipal affairs about it.
So it says write a letter to Northern Sunrise ASB, but we want to make sure that the council will see that.
Yeah, we can draft a letter and see where we're at on that. The municipal affairs thing should probably just get some more information and see what the process is. Like, I'm not sure if all of a sudden you're gonna have to resurvey the boundary or something, or if they can just redraw basically on the maps of these land formations or put different words in it and how they describe the boundary. So obviously, I don't think it's a big enough concern if all of a sudden we gotta hire a surveying team and resurvey the boundary to cost us significant amount of money. It's probably not really worth it, right?
So you'd be able to start that process then?
Yeah, I already placed a phone call with
See what the
the
steps
guy
are.
here, see where it goes. Yeah, we don't even have to send a letter to Northern Sunrise right away, like as long as I get appointed by June. We could draft a letter, if that's the way you guys want to go. I'm just a little wonder like why they went in camera to begin with, and if it's so that the rest of council doesn't see the minutes, right? Because it's not on their minutes, right? So
I think this letter would be a public letter, obviously, their response, but what their discussion was to come up with this letter,
where that letter doesn't even address any of the concerns that are in my PowerPoint presentation, and it's like I said, it's completely either whitewashed or somebody living in a different reality of what actually happened, right? So
what you presented,
okay,
well, we can draft, but we should probably get that letter out sooner than later, because things take time, right? I mean, we get it out by the end of April, even, and then give them time to respond to it. Make sure that you're ready to go, and we say probably June is the earliest you really need to be there, right? So.
Yeah, I'm not thinking it's washed down any further, but we already did check, like I said at the meeting, we did check the next site up. Then we didn't find anything further up, walked for quite a few hours looking for it. It's just how big of an issue it's gonna be moving forward.
But I remember back when Canada Thistle was kind of a new weed in the county and you know, starting to see it, and then once it got into the green area zones, there was no stopping it then, right? I mean, well, this Tansy is as aggressive as that, but
It's fairly aggressive. It's a perennial. It creeps by rhizomes, kind of similar to Canada Thistle. It's probably a much more aggressive seed setter. Like if you ever, especially driven in southern Alberta before they mow the ditches and even central Alberta, you'll see it growing everywhere through fence lines. Like it's got, you know, it grows this tall. A lot of people use it for ornamentals, little button flowers. And it's like that old cowboy trail. Like if you ever go the old way and when the roads aren't mowed from right at Mayerthorpe and go that way to like Red Deer, it's just all throughout the fence lines and ditches everywhere there, right? So like it definitely could be like Canada Thistle, but
you know. And, you know, in the best efforts, we still will not stop it, but gotta at least try, so. Okay, well, you're okay with that for now, we'll try to get you access to deal with it in the short term, and then we'll try. You make sure that boundary that really becomes their problem, not yours. If we can realign that boundary so it doesn't, all the 20 sites you're talking about are.
yeah, yeah, access and some information sharing would be appreciative. In the first semicolon one where it says requesting access to the lands and access and information sharing. It's kind of what the letter will be about.
That kind of covers it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's probably the best we could do now. Anybody want to make that motion? Councillor Reese, any last discussion? And this will come from our council or from our ag service board? I mean,
It doesn't really matter.
Well, the letter was.
Oh, I can just sign the
Ag
name.
service board for now, right?
No, but we are,
Well, we're the same.
you know, saying, so.
I can just sign your name, Ag Service Board Chair and Reeve, County Northern Lights too, right?
Sure. Okay, all in favor? Carried. What else you got, Blake? There's Impera draft grant for the next 4 years,
5.
5.
So a while back, we talked about this Ag Service Board grant we're applying for. They want agreements signed by the end of March, which is kind of silly because we're not sure if we're even going to get approved for the RM funding stream until the end of April, but that's kind of what they requested, is to have these new grants signed. So we updated the agreement with NAPERA to align with the 5-year term for reporting purposes and specified some of that in the schedule. In the Schedule A of the new requirements of the grant. This old grant used to be more just for demonstrations, demonstration and research plot services, and probably hadn't been really updated since the early to mid 2000s. This is kind of the first year I've been a part of it, whereas I don't think even NAPERA was probably doing a lot of stuff in the grant, because even a lot of the stuff specified in the grant were programs they were supposed to be applying for that haven't existed for better part of a decade. So we just aligned the grant to be kind of more where we're at now. So the big, probably most important part is number 3, basically saying this grant period will go from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st of 2029. We're still gonna kind of promise them for a 5-year period to give them the $100,000 we've been giving them, with the expectations that 40 grand is spent on staffing requirements and 60,000 is spent on extension, education, research, and outreach. I've floated the agreement with Jose at she's the manager over there at NAPERA, and I believe she took it to their meeting on the 4th.
Yeah, the other day.
She said there were no concerns. We just basically need them to meet the requirements to fulfill our grant reporting for the resource management stream funding. And then we also discussed as a council that say we get $20,000 in RM funding, we were just gonna pass that right over to them, so then they'd get 120 grand instead of 100. Is kind of what we discussed at one time. Of course, we could change that if you guys aren't happy with that. Then they had specific questions about funding capital items, and there was nothing in here about capital items because the previous grant was kind of, here's 100 grand, do as you see fit. Don't really report anything other than they give us a copy of their AGM and financials. But there were no really restrictions on how that money was spent. So now this current grant doesn't really allot any for capital items. So I put a number 9 in there. If you scroll down, is just basically says all capital purchase required funding from this grant need to be approved by council. Anything under 5,000 doesn't really need to come back by council, and the council rep that goes to the meeting. So that'd be Gary. Anything under 5 grand, we'd give him authority to approve. So you guys aren't getting inundated with requests under 5 grand. If that's the number you guys like, that of course can be changed. And then I also put a caveat in there that if council decides they need 40 or 50 grand, that funding can either come from a new grant altogether, a loan repayment, or it can actually come from this $100,000 grant itself. That's kind of the only thing they wanted in there, is to kind of know how to go forward with capital items.
So you went through these amendments with Jose and she was good with them?
I sent her everything that I changed and highlighted in yellow. Gerhard has seen everything I changed, highlighted in yellow. Most of the stuff, there's quite a few clauses in there that are like, I don't know, lawyer type clauses of.
Like maybe just touch on they wanted to keep some reserve.
Oh, she did ask a question of using the grant funding. Like just privately asked me a question about using the grant funding for building reserves at Napera. And my kind of comment was to them, you guys are a not-for-profit. You guys shouldn't be using grant funding to build reserves, because usually when you apply for grant funding is like, you're coming out saying, hey, I want to deliver on this project and this is what I want to spend the money on. You know, if obviously they come to council and said, you know, we got lots of money, we'd like $100,000 grant to put it in the savings account, you kind of guys would go, well, that's not really what we give money for. So I kind of just told them, like, the grant is not supposed to be used for building reserves. Like, obviously we're not going to have you send us a full spreadsheet on every last penny where the $100,000 grant goes to. We probably kind of understand that maybe there might be some leftover, but your guys' intention should not be using our grant to build reserves for a rainy day fund, right? She said, yeah, that's fine. After that, we kind of.
Well, the other thing is some of these grants, they stipulate that they want something in reserve for between 1 year and the next. And so this was part of what I think she was aiming at. Like a 10%, one, can't remember which one it was, but it was a 10% grant, and it was sort of a bridging from 1 year to the next.
Kind of just carry it forward.
Yeah.
Project,
Yeah, and that could be what, you know, like it's gonna be used for operational, but they just have to stipulate it that it was in reserve for that time of the, you know, like in the period of time in the.
Right, yeah, so I think that new plot cedar they bought was kind of like that. They knew they needed it, so they kind of held some of that grant money put towards it, so it wasn't reserved for other purposes, so. Yeah. I don't know how they segregate that in their budget, but.
I know the RDAR funding, she mentioned that they're only allowed to, like, if they apply for a $90,000 grant and for whatever reason a project got canceled and they only say spent 50,000, they're only allowed to hold so much over for the next year for a similar type project, and then they allotted like buffer, like 10% can just kind of like disappear wherever you see fit, like into reserves or whatever. I kind of told her, like, we probably are under the understanding that some years you're not going to spend all the 100 on just staffing and education and outreach. So we're kind of understanding that, some might end up in the reserve pile, and we're not requiring you to report it, and we're not requiring you to come back to us and say, yeah, we only spent 75, so here's 25 back. We're not really gonna require that. Obviously, if we start seeing your financials every year and it starts going, well, year one, you got $75,000 in a savings account in GICs, and then next year you got 150. I imagine you guys as counselors, when they're asking for the next 100 or on a 5-year process, you're gonna start thinking like, why are you asking us for 100 and now over 5 years, your reserves went from 75 to 250? I imagine you guys are gonna start having questions and be like, do you guys really need our money, right? That's totally up to you guys, right?
Well,
To
it's
catch that.
understandable if they have a good year and they save a few, 10,000, whatever, and it's left over. It would, not just gonna go spend it for the sake of spending it, put it in a little reserve.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say to them on the number 9 about capital funding. Like if something does come up and you need 150,000 for a down payment on a new seeder or a few year payments on a seeder, like you guys should be coming to us and saying, hey, things have changed. We'd like to repurpose a portion of this money for this. And we were gonna kind of do it anyways, but by only spending 65,000 internally on this, and then we were gonna take 35 grand and put it to a down payment on the seeder, your grant money. Like, we'd like to know that, right? Like, just come to us and say, hey, like, this is the plan and this is our proposition on how we would like to pay for this, right? And this is where we're taking the money. Because we're gonna apply for $100,000 grant for the RM funding, and we're most likely gonna get somewhere between 15 and 20 grand. So we're gonna have plenty of $100,000 to claim back against that 20. So if they do come to us the odd year and say, hey, we only spent 60 on RM funding and we used 40 for this other stuff, but I think we'd like to know that process of where our money's actually going on to make it more transparent. So that's kind of why I put that there. And for a lot of years, I don't think maybe they had as much open dialogue as they should have had with us. Like they didn't come to a lot of our meetings. They just presented once a year. Whereas I said, if you are changing how you're spending our money, the people that are giving you the money as the stakeholders would probably like to know that, right? So if you have to come and do a quick 15-minute, 20-minute delegation, we're, less than 5 minutes away, right? Like I think you guys would like to hear that. Maybe you guys wouldn't, I don't know.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what I know Joe says she'd have no problem doing that, I think. I mean, she's pretty organized there, so.
Yeah, no, she's receptive. They don't have a problem with it. It went to their board. Everything was good from my understanding of her. It's just if you guys have any changes before, we want to have her and Gerhard sign it. And
Yeah, so any questions on it? I think you explained it as lots of stuff in there, but you're happy with it and they're happy with it, yeah.
oh, and then the other thing to just,
It went through the board.
They never, okay, well, that's very appreciated. I think this council, if there's any questions, but I don't hear any, so.
the other brief thing to touch on is I did update the policy. The NAPERA grant policies at the end of it needs to be updated as well. Because the grant is basically different. Before it was just an NAPERA research and demonstration policy saying like we value that, and we're gonna provide maybe some time and labor into that.
Yeah, well, let's not on.
It should be on there if you scroll down.
No, I see it, but we'll deal with that separately, right? We'll deal with this,
It's actually all part of the same.
the grant.
I don't have a separate slot on it for the agenda, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It was as an attachment. I included it as an attachment.
Yeah. We'll do it, yeah. Okay, so let's go and receipt of the NAPERA grant policy and approve it. Okay, Councilor, please. All in favor? Carried. Does everybody have the grant policy?
It's just one page.
Yeah, it's one of our shortest policies I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay, moved by Councilor Decken that we accept the updated NAPERA grant policy. Any questions on it? Not all in favor? Carried. And then item 63.04 is just some correspondence.
They're the letters we sent to Vulcan and Vulcan County and the ASBPC board. And just the Paris board minutes.
Okay, no comments on that, we'll accept correspondence as information. Thank you, Councillor Yasinski, all in favor? And with that, I will adjourn the meeting.
10:53.
Yeah, public information. Thanks, Wade.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
We got ISL on standby.
They just didn't say it.
We can maybe get through a couple things before 11 o'clock, so go back to our regular agenda. Put your way back there, page 1, item 6.1.2 is the CEO report. So let's everybody finally catch up to there. Page 64 of that. Okay, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Chair. So I will be on leave, leaving on the 21st of April, son's wedding. And I'm flying back on May the 11th, so I'll be back for council meeting on the 13th. The second item I have is we are still looking for final direction from council on the 30-year anniversary. I know that there was a document circulated about coffee and cake with council. Is that the final decision that we're going with that? Are we doing it just at the main office here? Are we doing it in 2 places? In the south too? And what is council's idea? Are we going to do a big giveaway prize as a sweet for people to attend it? Or do we rather spend the money on smaller swag items? Just need a little bit of direction.
I'm pretty indifferent on that. I mean, I think one thing about having a big prize leaves a lot of people out, right? I mean, it's only going to be a couple of people that would benefit from that. Which, I mean, that's how raffles work a lot of the time, but maybe we're better off just to have something everybody can go home with, whether it's a water bottle or a coffee mug or something that's semi-useful.
With the hats, Trinity was looking at, was she ordering both or just, was she gonna get one? There was bucket hat and baseball.
Second, ask it. Can you hear us?
No, actually, I didn't hear what Terry said or what Brenda said.
Please repeat.
Trinity, were you gonna order both hats or did you wanna?
No, I just priced out 2 different hat options. And yeah, a bucket and just a regular ball cap.
We're only gonna choose one?
You can choose whichever you prefer. I just wanted to give options as Gerhard directed me to do so.
Trinity can't order anything without your approval or get her or my direction, so.
So did we actually pick a date for this year? Or we're still kind of out for grabs?
My recommendation said Tuesday, May 13th, after council meetings in council chambers to reduce travel time.
Yeah, you have it marked in there, so it must have been talked about before. So it would be like an afternoon thing, right?
Yeah, I had 5 to 8 PM or 7 to 9 PM or whichever time frame you guys would prefer. I don't know how hefty the agenda will be that day, so.
So I would suggest if we go later, which is probably good, more people would be able to attend.
Yes, yeah,
But we probably, a little bit early yet, but we'd want to probably move our council meeting to a 12 o'clock start or 1 o'clock start. Just so you guys are sticking around for 3 hours waiting.
Yeah, I, at the meeting, pre-meeting, I mentioned that it was, we were gonna have this, anniversary and they all wanted invites. Like the other councils would like invites to the thing, so.
Well, I think we would definitely put it out there for anybody to attend, not just councils. It's
No, but-
yeah, councils for sure should be. Like all the pre members or,
Well, that was Carolyn, but,
I mean, yeah,
the surrounding,
right. They would come all the way from Spirit River and what, but it's their choice, I guess. I mean, May is good travel weather, so.
And I think just one event like that is good. Just one thing.
I agree, but I mean, this 30-year anniversary is nice, but it's not a real historic thing. It's not like 100 years or yeah. How far do we want to promote that?
No, I'm good with one event. So we're planning, so we're gonna give out hats. That kind of what we're looking at here.
I think so.
That are swag plan hats. That seems reasonable.
yeah, the recommendation had hats and then giveaway for an experience.
And then if we have a choice with the hats, I would go with the ball cap.
yeah. For summer anyhow,
Okay, so does that give you guys some direction then?
I just have one quick question is what kind of quantity of hats did you guys want to order? And are we just gonna give these out at the open, the cake and coffee event?
It's pretty hard to measure that, but how much are they?
The ball caps with the display patch I designed are $20.88 each. So 200 of them would be around $4,100. The reason I went with the 200 is the bucket hats are a minimum 200 you'd have to get. I think you can do less with the ball cap.
What's the quantity on the ball hats?
200 of them for $4,100 roughly.
That's minimum order is 200?
I don't recall the minimum order off the top of my head, but we can do less than 200.
I don't think we. I'd be surprised if 50 people show up, and even if other councils coming, but probably 100 would be. Or less. I mean, I would gladly donate mine, give mine away if somebody was short one, but. See, maybe just check Trinity and see if there's any minimum quantities on the ball caps. We're kind of feeling that 200 is probably way overkill.
100 would be more than enough.
Yeah.
The only thing, like maybe if there's a price break, if we went over a certain amount, like could we not give them out at the trade shows or something like that after?
Trade shows are before.
I mean, if they're gonna be local to 30th anniversary, then they kind of become irrelevant down the road, but.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, we'll get, I think we kind of got consensus that we'll go with the ball caps as swag and do a kind of late afternoon event on that, whatever date that was, 11th or whatever that council meeting date is. And, then I guess, I don't know what you're gonna have here, you can have cake or
That's the plan, is that cake and
coffee and
And
juice,
coffee.
yeah.
Would it be possible to order a nice pen for people that might not want a ball cap? I mean. Everybody need the ball cap, I don't know, I guess I could give it away, but
I keep forgetting to bring a pen, I thought,
I like these pens, these nice little.
yeah, but I got one, and these are going back to when we were kids in school, it has 4 colors on it, 4 switches.
Oh, yeah.
And it really writes nice, and you got green, black, blue, and red, and it's got the thing on the end for doing your cell phone or whatever, and I should bring that and let you look at it. and-
I'd like to have something option.
Yeah, not everybody wants
That's
a pen.
my.
I know Trin has ordered a big bulk order of branded pens. Maybe we can keep some of that, not keep everything out at the trade shows and
Yes.
people have an
that's a
option.
great idea.
They would say 30th anniversary on them, pens, or just County Northern Lakes.
I think it's just
And
counting
that's
all rights.
fine. I'm fine with that.
Just a quick note, I did ask Dina about minimum quantity on the ball caps, and it's 7, because they do them in-house. So anything more than 7 ball caps.
7, so anywhere between 7 and 200, then. Okay, well, Garrett's gonna talk to you about maybe ordering up some different pens than the ones we got out front now, and we can hand those out as well and give people a choice, I guess. Okay, so we'll just need a,
And you guys are happy with the 5 o'clock start?
yeah,
Yes.
5 to 8 o'clock?
sure. Okay, let's get a motion to, this is part of the CEO report. Before we do that, I had one more thing I just wanted to, sorry, I saw we'll keep you waiting a little bit, but do you have any updates on us on, what happened at the Warrensville shop? Or is that on your investigation that you can't really say much now?
I can talk now.
Okay, on your report, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can talk.
we'll wait till your turn then. Okay. All right, get a motion to acknowledge the CEO report and, put in there both the anniversary party. Hey, Councillor Decken, all in favor? Carried. You guys can turn to your Municipal Planning Commission agenda. We'll recess the regular meeting again. And we'll call, NPC meeting to order at 11:04. I'll just pick everybody to their agendas. Is that a separate agenda? I think it was on. As a general one. Okay, who do we have with us for myself today? Debbie?
But Gail, we can still online.
Gail? Hello, Gail, can you hear us?
I've got David, we've got David, so it's David.
Oh, Debbie, okay.
Morning,
So-
yes, it's Debbie.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning. Yep,
Do you want me to proceed?
no, we'll go through our agenda in order here first, then we'll get to you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep, okay, so
Can I have one amendment on the
Yep.
agenda, please?
you betcha.
Can we please, item C, what's it, 04C1, the Green Municipal Fund? Can we please move that to the next meeting?
So you want to,
I want to take that off the
Okay.
agenda for today, please.
okay. So we have a deletion on the agenda, item C, number 1, the Green Municipal Fund is being deleted. Any other changes, amendments? Now I'll get a motion to accept the agenda with the deletion. Councillor Thies, all in favor, carried. Minutes from February 11th. They're for review. Any discussion? If not, get a motion to, Councillor Reese moves to accept the minutes from the previous meeting, all in favor, carried. We have no development permits issued by the development officer, but item B, item 4.0B, development permits issued by the planning commission. So number 1 is development permit VP-25-02. And go ahead, Gail.
Debbie.
Thank you. Both the applications today are for communication towers, so I'll start with 2502. The applicant is proposing to locate a 45-meter communication tower on lot 1, block 1, plan 1223970, which is on part of the northwest of 228624 west of the 5th. And it will be 40 meters from the front boundary of the property. The land use bylaw requires a setback of 41 meters from the front boundary. Therefore, they need a variance of 1 meter. The land is regulated by the Ag General District, and the development is considered a public utility, which is a discretionary use in this district. The applicant has advised that the tower is made of steel, requires a pile footing with safety lights and lightning protection, and will be located within a fence 3 meter by 3 meter compound. The tower is one of several applications that has been and will be submitted for the area by the applicant. The primary goal of installing the towers is to improve internet connectivity for rural homes in the county and bring significant benefits to the region, including improved access to educational resources, telehealth services, and economic benefits. These towers are not 5G. The system is designed specifically to feed wireless broadband access in rural areas and will operate at 3 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz frequencies. These frequencies are like those used in common household Wi-Fi routers and are considered safe for human exposure. Access to the property will be from Township Road 864. There is an abandoned well site owned by Spoke Resources. It's located in the quarter section outside of the subject site. The well site is 102 meters south of the subject site's south property line. There are no record of spills or contamination within the quarter. It also contains a low-pressure gas line owned by North Peace, a discontinued high-pressure gas line owned by Insignia Energy, and a right-of-way owned by Sandling Energy. The development is not within any historical value classified land designation, and it's not within the Grimshaw gravel aquifer. The proposed development does meet all the regulations of the A district, with the exception of the 41-meter setback from Range Road 8 or Township Road 864. The proposed 1 meter variance is reasonable and has limited material effect on the adjacent roadway. The applicant, in accordance with industry standards, has notified nearby residents of the proposed tower and invited questions and feedback. They also advertise in the location of the tower in the Mile Zero banner post, and the county circulated to adjacent landowners and referral agencies. In addition, Alberta Energy Regulator was notified to obtain abandoned well setback information. Attempts were also made to contact the abandoned well owners. There were no concerns received from any of the referrals. The recommendation is to approve a 45-meter communication tower located 40 meters from the front boundary on lot 1, block 1, plan 122, 3970. Let me see. Seem to have a mistake here. 3970 on part of the northwest 228624 west to the 5th, subject to the conditions listed. And we've also included the one advisement that the lease agreement between the landowner and the applicant include consent to the development and provide an easement to access the tower site. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from council? Not look for a motion to acknowledge receipt and issue the development permit with the 7 conditions and advisement.
I'll approve that.
Okay, Councillor Shrug has made that motion. Any final questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay, the next one.
Thank you. Again, this is for a 45-meter tower, this time on lot 1, block 1, plan 2420645 on part of the northwest 369024 west of the 5th on a 26.27 acre parcel, and it's designated Ag A. Again, it's a public utility and is a discretionary use. And I won't go through all the specs as the tower is exactly as the last one. The quarter section is located 7 kilometers southwest of Manning and 3.6 kilometers west of North Star at the southeast corner of Range Road 241 and Township Road 910. It is accessed from Township 910 and developed with a house, barn, and farm-related buildings. A portion of the quarter is under ag production, while the balance and majority contains forest and creek. The quarter section and site are not located within a key wildlife biodiversity zone, an environmentally sensitive area, a historical value classified land designation, or the Grimshaw gravel aquifer. Sorry. There are no well sites, no record of spills or contamination. A low-pressure gas line owned by North Peace Gas Co-op and county water line run through the quarter section and site. The applicant, again, in accordance with Industry Canada, has notified nearby residents of the proposed tower, invited questions and feedback, and they've also advertised the proposed location in the Mile Zero banner post. And again, it's been, the county has referred it to the adjacent landowners and the referral agencies. We have not received any comments or concern from any landowners or agencies. Our recommendation is to approve the location of a 45-meter tower, communication tower on Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 242-0645 on part of the Northwest 3690-24 west of the 5th, subject to the conditions outlined and again, the advisement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So any questions on this one? Is pretty much a carbon copy of the first one. If not, get a motion to approve this with the conditions. Okay, Councillor Sinski, all in favor? Carried. I guess that's it, because we deleted the other items, so thank you.
Thank you.
We will adjourn the meeting at 11:14.
I'm sorry, can I have whoever did this, motion for the minutes and this last one?
For the minutes?
Is that one for the minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
And who did this very last one?
Again, to do the last development permit. Let's get back to our regular agenda. We left off at finance. 6.1.5. Vendor payment registry, page 65. This is a
Just here for your acceptance, or happy to answer any questions you have. This is payments from February of this year.
yeah, last meeting when you were gone.
Yeah.
We have the whole phone book there.
There you go.
Any questions? Payment register, you don't call it a check register anymore?
Well, in all reality, we don't pay hardly any checks anymore, so. Keeping you on your toes, changing the titles.
Okay, Councillor Reese moves to acknowledge receipt of the payment register, except for information. All in favor? Carried. We go down to second page. Public Works. Hold up the agenda here for us.
8 items sold.
So item A under Public Works, page 72 in your iPad, is the DPW report. Yep.
So, contract grader beats, that's also on this agenda, after our in-camera discussion. So I won't touch too much on that. We did extend it by a week, just to give a little extra time for proponents to put packages together. We can get all their ducks in a row. So we can discuss that later. Went to the Boreal Conference. Excellent information, a lot of information. Touched a little on it last night there about, some of the tools that have been created by, people with doctorates and very brilliant minds. It was kind of interesting as well, and a little sad. Arctic railings are kind of dying out in the province right now. And there's been a significant effort to help preserve them. And some fly fishermen actually have been kind of leading the charge on that. So it's,
Who has been?
it's a fly fisherman group. And their president did a presentation on it and some of the things that they're implementing. They've tried to catch some illegal anglers. Some just trying to help out the rivers where the Arctic railing currently are. They've I forget what they called it, but they've essentially tagged some of these fish. They've caught them, tagged them, and released them, just to see how far they're traveling, where they're traveling, if they're coming back through, type thing. Very interesting information.
Are they, do you know where they listed on the species at risk? Is there
They're very, very close to the bottom, like they're, I don't know exactly where they're at on it, but they're in the red, essentially.
because once they become a species at risk, then the Fed's gonna start to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they are.
What is their primary threat? What is reducing their population?
So the primary threat to them right now is rising temperatures in the water. So they can only survive in, I think it's optimal temperature is between 17 to 20 degrees is what it was. And that's lots of these rivers, they're also monitoring temperatures of the water, and they've just seen a steady increase in water temperatures. Oh, 100%. And that's what a lot of this conference was geared towards, was the environmental change and the climate change that's happening throughout Alberta and the world in general. There was, as I noted here, there was an excellent presentation from he's an economist, and he's just a brilliant guy. Like, he's very, very smart and very well spoken, and he did an awesome presentation. He's actually from Alberta, from central Alberta, and there was a lake that his parents had grown up on that was just this massive lake, and it's just shrinking, and now it smells like sulfur and rotten eggs and all that. So he touched on that. He's traveled the world, essentially looking at different water sources throughout the world, right? In India, some very poor water sources obviously over there, but no, it was very, very beneficial for us as administration to attend that. My recommendation is to continue with these water coalitions, and especially in the times we're in right now, and participating in those types of events.
Well, I'm really glad that you went. I mean, we were thinking about sending somebody from council, but we have to be busy. It worked out well, but I think you probably gained more from that than we would have, so.
Yeah, and I think that's with stuff like that's heavily geared towards what the science, I guess, behind things. It's good to have our administrative team tag along at the minimum. Because there was a lot of councillors that are like down Peace River, the mayor was there.
I think it should go the other way. You say tag along, but I think council should tag along with you.
Yeah.
Not you tag along with council, so yeah, good to know that for the future.
Yeah, and there was some really cool stuff too about insects. And an etymologist. Yeah, and they were introducing some new insects into rivers and creeks. And they were helping to monitor the health of it and the contaminants from industry and deforestation and that kind of stuff. So really cool information. And really beneficial to us. Any other questions on that?
Nope. Glad you got lots out of it.
Yeah. So I also attended a meeting here yesterday morning at the town office in Manning. Alberta Transportation was there. They had a presentation from Stantec, who is in the early process of designing the new bridge for Highway 35 through the town of Manning. It was very preliminary. It was a decent meeting, good information that was presented and given from the town to Stantec and Transportation. One of the things that was discussed was the alignment of the bridge. It is going to stay the same. They are going to build a detour when it comes time to do the actual construction. They are planning on 2031 to replace that bridge. We also discussed a little about the sidewalks on that bridge and what the town would like to see. There was some feedback from them that they would like to see maybe a little sitting area type thing at the bridge, like a little bulb out to sit and watch the river. So they're taking all the comments under consideration and seeing what's feasible, what's not. And like I said, very preliminary thing. It's not nothing set in stone yet. Talked a little about lighting on the bridge, which I think is pretty important as well. And some things that they would like to see on. We also discussed in that meeting the Hotchkiss Bridge. So that bridge is slated this year to undergo some repairs, similar to what happened on the one in Manning. As well, that bridge is going to be replaced in 2031. 2031, same year as the Manning Bridge.
And then how about the Meikle River Bridge? Because I thought they're all kind of the same vintage, but maybe Meikle River is a bit newer.
Well, Meikle, I'm pretty sure underwent some fairly, well, not pretty sure, I know it underwent some fairly substantial repairs a while back. So I think that bought them, I don't know how many years. It wasn't really discussed at that meeting, so I don't know too much about that.
It was enough for now to deal with, so.
Yeah, well, and that's just it, and with maintaining the alignment of the Manning Bridge is gonna come at a fairly high added cost. So, because there's gonna be temporary, possible, permanent retaining walls needed, depending on where they decide to put their detour. It's it'll be interesting to see.
There really isn't much room on the north side of it now, right?
No.
So you have to go find another place somewhere to, it's gonna be.
Yeah, well, the detour will be on one of the, either side of the bridge.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just a matter of, it's kind of sounding like it'll be on the east side, but that poses problems because the, lift station for the towns there's water lines that run there, there's
quite a bank there, right by Lena's house, right?
yeah, so then so if they put it on the other side, it's gonna need retaining walls. Whole thing, so. But the bonus is that it's gonna be the same alignment. No road work is gonna really need to be done, but
So when all the piers are all gonna be reused, right? They don't have to, they're just gonna change.
They'll likely redo the whole thing, whole kit caboodle, because it's gonna have to last for another 75 years, so. Is what their estimated lifespan for these bridges are.
And same way.
Well, it will likely be a little wider. And especially with the sidewalks, because the sidewalks right now aren't, yeah, like it's, it's, as Keith Hutchison said there, it's, you gotta kind of run across the bridge and hope that nobody's coming. But then you can't walk side by side, so that's another thing. Typically when they design sidewalks for bridges, it's to fit 2 wheelchairs side by side. Is their standard. But, and right now, they can't do that, so. There was some options thrown out there, an extra large sidewalk on one side and no sidewalk on the other. Possible little walking path underneath bridge. Yeah, something, there was lots of feedback given about the sidewalks, for sure. But yeah, other than that, that's, all that really came out of that meeting. Like I said, very preliminary, early stages of this process. Nothing's set in stone yet.
What about, Warrensville?
Well, yeah, so one more thing on that is, one of the other things that was brought up was, Second Ave, the right turn only. The town would like to see that eventually, or see what the possibility is to have it right and left turn.
Which one is that?
That's on the south side of the bridge.
Going to the lodge?
Yeah. So,
coming onto Highway 35, you can only turn right.
Yeah.
And you wanna change that to make a left turn, how it was years ago.
Yeah, so it's a sight line issue is what was said, so. You can.
So the town was requesting that change it back to a left turn as well?
Yeah. So, see what comes about, they're gonna look and investigate it and see.
The reason they did that was because, like you say, visibility was so bad.
Yeah, so. Now the fun one. So. Sunday afternoon, I got a phone call from our self lead. And he told me that one of our operators was in town getting car parts and seen our picker truck, which is rigged up with our steamer unit right now, sitting at the UFA. And he went, that's not supposed to be there. So we went.
The UFA, sure,
Peace River. Yeah. So this all happened in Peace River. So we went and he called the non-emergent RCMP line. He was waiting there for the RCMP to show up. One of our pickups came into the UFA. And then our operator followed said pickup. A female jumped out at the hospital. And then the truck sped off. During this time, he's on the phone with 911. And the RCMP chased this vehicle, got up to speeds of 200 kilometers an hour.
200?
Yeah, they called it off.
Our trucks will do 200. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what they said, so. And then they lost them. So when I was called, our lead was going to the Warrensville shop to investigate what was going on. I reluctantly got dressed and headed out the door, headed down to Warrensville to assist. And it was found that 2 pickup trucks, a picker truck, welder, various tools, battery chargers, essentially cleaned out the shop. There was also an abandoned vehicle at the truck fill across the road that the RCMP came and they investigated that. They know who the owner of that vehicle is, and it is a individual that they are fairly certain was involved in this, as well as some other things. The vehicle was involved in running another vehicle off the road a few days prior to this, so they're well aware of who this individual is. They found a hat that had hairs in it. They're sending it for DNA.
But Charles, didn't our cameras catch them in action?
Oh, yes, oh, yeah, so we have cameras at the Warrensville shop. And that would have been great, but they stole the recording device. So,
how did they access keys to the vehicle?
so they smashed out one of the bay door windows and they climbed through. And then they opened the big bay doors.
So, we don't look at a safe or looking at the keys because this seems to be an ongoing.
Yeah, so we did that in Dixonville. And then the same, so the guys typically, and this is just an unfortunate timing thing, is they left their keys in the shop in a drawer, essentially. And they just, as they're rifling through, they found keys. We were able to bring the picker truck back to the shop. And we disabled it so they wouldn't be able to take it again. Unfortunately.
Just clarification, the picker truck, was that UFA, and that's as far as it got?
Yeah, because they stashed it there and then they were coming back for it.
Good.
So we stashed the truck back at Warrensville shop because it has the hot sea on it, and we drained the tank at the UFA just in case we weren't able to move it. Unfortunately, we weren't in time. The hot sea, it froze up. Not a huge issue. I mean, it's inconvenience. But we have a spare, so we're not. No.
Did it, like it froze up, bust some lines in, or?
Yeah, so we're looking at what it's gonna take to repair. Hopefully not too much, but we have since recovered one of the pickups. It was located on Romer Road, just outside of Grimshaw. So that's been recovered. The picker truck was recovered. Not much for tools, I don't believe has been recovered. Yeah.
And one pickup is still.
And one is still MIA, yeah.
So that female that dropped on the hospital, did anybody pursue that? Like, I mean, she must have obviously been in contact with these guys and might be able to be some help in the investigation, or?
Yeah, so the RCMP have been, are going to get the UFA footage and try to get some footage from the hospital as well.
The hospital must have a bidding process that they would know.
Well, no, like so when she jumped out at the hospital, she jumped in another vehicle and took.
Oh, I thought maybe she went in to get.
No. But so they are investigating it. They know who at least one of them is. I don't know any other information from them on that, but.
And then they disabled the, like, you have a tracking thing in the pickups or something that they.
Yeah, so they did disable that. They were smart enough to do that because as we were standing in the shop, or I was standing in the shop with the RCMP, I was trying to track them through 4 pass app is how we track our trucks. And yeah, it was the locations for those 2 pickups were on.
So there's enough knowledge to take that security camera recorder and disable the tracking stuff there, so they're fairly familiar with what.
Yeah, they're
how you operate the shop there, so.
well, they're just proficient thieves. Unfortunately. But yeah, so that's where we stand with that. That's as much information as I have right now.
Do we have a plan to get that window covered up? Like, is there something better we can do?
Yeah, so we've already had it covered up, Kaylin.
Yeah, I know, but it's just plastic right now, right? Like, that's not very secure either to just bring them on back, and it's a dark place to do it.
Yeah, the lead was gonna screw on some like an old stop sign or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, just something better than plastic. I know it was plastic on Sunday, but it was fresh, so I totally get that, but just to prevent them from doing it again, right?
Yeah, no, it currently is now.
Perfect.
We are looking at as well, once we replace that window, fabricating a bar to go kind of halfway down the window to prevent somebody from climbing through. I made the joke to Gerhard, I must have been real skinny because, guys like us can't climb through that.
But even like to go through.
So,
And we also talked about, when we replace the cameras to have it, maybe look at cloud-based systems, so that can cloud, we put into the cloud.
Did we ever get any feedback or a final report or anything like that from K Division when they come and did our inspections or something? Like, I just feel like I don't know if we're just an easy target or what we're doing wrong to encourage it, or if it's just pure bad luck, but like, I mean, we got to do something. Like, these are expensive assets that are just going for joyrides.
so
Keep your stuff in the middle of nowhere.
yeah,
They recommend not doing that.
Yeah, so we did get a report back, and a lot of the stuff from K Division that they had suggested on their site visit that they put on their report, we had already implemented. So it's kind of,
Other than the keys.
yeah.
So does the
Okay.
SPCA have any big scary dogs that we could go and rescue? Like, I don't know, how do we combat this? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, well, we lucked out for a little while, and then I'm very certain that this is same individuals that were caught out by Fairview in our pickup, having a nap. So they obviously have been released and are out and about again.
Yeah, it's. And the criminal problem is these guys don't really have any consequences for this, right? Just go do it again.
Catch and release.
Okay, any questions for Charles's report?
This report.
Okay, Councillor Reeve moves to acknowledge receipt of the report. Except for information, all in favor, carried. Okay, your next one, item B, is request for decision on grader purchase.
Yeah, so this, we have our leases coming up in June. So we want to get ahead of the game here. And get some stuff on order. Get some graders on order, sorry. So we just need a motion to move forward with it. It was in the capital budget already to replace graders 1008, 1009.
And then the ones that have been replaced, they just go back to fitting.
Yeah.
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 There's no residual on them, or they were just leased.
Yeah, they're just leases, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a budgeted item, I see no reason to not proceed with this, so a motion to proceed with the purchase of the two graders. I can make that motion. All in favor? Carried. Okay, item C, request for decision on tender 25 DR 1302.
Yeah, so this is for the Carcajou Bridge project that is under STIP. As you see here, we received 5 tenders. And we came in pretty lucky here and got a local contractor that has material in stock. And ready to go once it's awarded.
Yeah, remind me, is this the one that they're gonna push a pipe through the existing
Yes,
one?
that's the one.
So how are these bids, compared to what your expectation was?
Way better. We were expecting about 250,000. Oh, yeah, very good. And this again, yeah, is a STIP project, so 75% is covered under the grant.
Okay, I'll, take the move.
Okay. Councillor Reese moves that, award the tender to one of the road builders, all in favor? Carried. Okay, now we'll go to the additions, but this says after in camera, right? So we'll have to come back to that.
I just have a question for Charles on that Smith Mill Bridge, road bridge.
Yes.
Where are we on that?
That I am still waiting on a response here. I kind of pushed him last week to get some stuff to us and I haven't received anything yet.
And that's
for
just
review.
the engineering?
That's the, well, so it's for the piling.
Oh.
Pilings to go in. And he's well aware that we're gonna make this happen so that it avoids any seeding season issues or harvest. There was a little bit of an issue that he did inform me about with their design of the piles, and they were just trying to work their engineering numbers to make sure that everything was safe for the new bridge. But that, like I've said, that bridge is gonna be 2 weeks and it'll be in. Like, it'll be quick.
Yeah, I'm worried about, this construction roads.
Oh, yeah, like it's, so the bridge itself. Very quick process, put the piles in, or sorry, remove the old bridge, put the piles in, drop the new bridge on top. Very quick process that way. There may be, any extra time would be, the bridge would be open. And we would just be doing some work off the side of the road with some riprap. Just armoring kind of the sides of the creek.
I think it would be the least disruptive if we just waited till like July 1st. Because then there's no bus coming to go around.
Yeah, and we could
And then,
make that happen. We can,
then it's not gonna affect farming at all.
yeah, and we can,
So then.
we can schedule it for whatever you
I think
guys
that
would
would
like
be
to see, so. So,
Charles, just a question from my side. So the new bridge that's stored at the Dixonville shop,
yes,
the pilings and those things are all secured, or is that coming up with the installer?
that'll come with the install.
So it's not, there's nothing that can be reclaimed by somebody,
Oh,
that doesn't have permission to do it.
no, that's, yeah. And if they steal that bridge,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
That's, I was just gonna say the same thing.
Referring to the pilings and stuff like that, so that's metal they can sell it.
Yeah, I know that'll come with the installer and whatever they put in, and they take back whatever they don't use, and we only pay for what they put in, so.
Okay.
Great,
Okay.
thanks, Charles.
No problem.
You're good, Brenda?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move way down to 7.0, word and committee reports. Everybody submit them. So just need a motion to, unless there's any discussion coming out of it, just need a motion to accept them. Okay, Councillor Becker moves to, now receive the word reports, of that, recent catch up. Councillor Becker. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Info package. There's a few additions. Any comments coming with the info package? If not, the motion to acknowledge receipt, accept the information. Councillor Reese, all in favor? It's carried. Next page, agenda, open mic, Dan. You look like you're deep in thought there.
Was, the Peace Regional RCMP, or was it the Vanny RCMP that was involved with the incident? You mentioned K Division.
Yeah, so the K Division, they came up and they did, the site visit for Dixonville.
Okay.
That's completely separate. This Warrensville incident, was Peace River responded.
Yep.
And I will say they did an awesome job for us. I mean, still at a loss here, but they responded very fast, they dealt with the situation appropriately.
And what was the date of the incident?
So that was, I don't know what the date is.
Sunday.
So yeah, it happened, so the theft would have occurred on Saturday, we found out on Sunday, so the 8th was the incident. The 9th is when we found out and found the.
Have the RCMP given a release on this yet?
I don't believe so, I haven't seen anything.
Okay. And regarding Tansy, I know that that's an issue from part of Alberta I live in, but has it ever been an issue up here before? Is that a new thing?
Well, you got probably the wrong guy, probably should be a Blake question, but I'm not aware of it. I've never really dealt with it, but that's, I'm only one of the residents, so.
As far as I know, I think it's a fairly recent phenomenon up here.
Yeah.
So it's moving north.
Yeah. I really liked the presentation, yesterday. I heard it on a Zoom and it was a really good sound. It's pretty good. Colleen, I wasn't able to hear her a couple times. That was a good thing. I was just wondering, will that be on YouTube at all, or will it be on other?
We did a recording and.
Yeah, we can probably paste it on our Facebook page or.
On YouTube.
Sorry, YouTube page, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right.
And I've already sent you that.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
So, and I don't know if you heard Gerhard and myself speak, but a lot of times we have these open houses, town halls, nobody shows up, 1 or 2 people show. I don't know what the attendance was last night.
14 for Zoom.
Through online. So it was well attended, which tells us that it's an important issue.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good comments.
There was very good comments, yeah.
Some conspiracy or. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty. That's it.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
So decisions on delegation, we have the delegation from the volleyball team that's going to be hosting. Sounds like a fairly major event they're going to host here. They're also asking for a lot of money.
Full amount,
And
that's the full amount.
the whole event was like 60,000 budget, wasn't it?
No. Well, they did.
780 is what.
The budget they proposed to us was 20,780.
So yeah. Well, I've seen the 6,200 up there, I'm sure that's.
Josh, could they apply for some of the money? They're wanting for different things. They're coming to us, I think, for different than they can apply to the Northern Rec Board. Can they?
For different unrelated stuff, yeah.
They can, so.
Yeah, the rec board can't fund this request, it's too much money.
But
That's why they're coming
they
here.
go for partial to them, though?
Not if they're also asking for money from you,
Okay.
unless you
For
want
the
to
same
change that rule, but.
But I think the request they had to the rec board was specifically for some
unrelated.
capital
Yeah.
items that will stay with the school ongoing.
And that
this is
kind of is
separate,
okay,
yeah.
they can do
Yeah.
it, okay.
Well, no, that's, you get, let's be real, the same organizations ask for funding from the rec board over and over and over again every year, so that's pretty standard.
So my thinking that typical application, they ask for lots and expect less, or, you know, I mean, they would like to get it all, but they probably realize that it's, I would hope that they're gonna take the same presentation to the town. And it can be a shared sponsorship, and I don't know if they're gonna get any, call it corporate sponsorship, like if they're going after any of the businesses, you know, that would lead in this, but I don't have a problem supporting this, but I just don't know what level that we'd be comfortable with. So what we got left, you said in the report, 47,000 left in our accounts. Right, right, there, 45,750. So what does council think, what we can? I mean, we give other sports teams various amounts to go to hockey tournaments or ball tournaments or whatever, but never one this big.
We haven't hosted, I don't think in a long time, we'll never get a bid to host provincials for hockey. We can't host people, and we have one rink surface, so we'll never do that there. I think fall, maybe. Or
Maybe 45,000. Roughly 46,000 that come early in mid-March. So you're long ways to go yet to make that stretch out for.
spend it all early, then you don't have to.
Well,
Just kidding.
the answer is easy. Right?
Silver line. Yeah,
Well, I think this is a big event for the community, so I would be okay with at least, funding half of what they're asking. Like 10,000. Because like you said, I'm sure there's other places they can go and still do other fundraising.
And we do have other fundraising events planned.
Yeah, you asked them that, right? Yeah. So that they. Okay, so you prepared to make a motion, Brenda?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Got the picture already, so. We can-
You have to do something.
That was actually a really good presentation.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a motion by Councillor Sinski to provide $10,000 from council grants to the. I'll just say the volleyball tournament or provincial tournament, whatever the name is.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, so no further comments, no further discussion, I'll call for the vote, all in favor? You're okay with that, Caleb, you said, so I'm gonna call you a yes, that's carried. Okay, so we have to go in camera, and then come out of camera to discuss a few things, so. I don't know, Dan, if you want to stick around for the, when we come back out of camera, or. It's your choice, we're gonna take a bit of a break first.
Well, and if you want, I can provide you with what the decisions are on the awards.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
If you don't want to stick around, it's up to you.
No, I'll pick up that.
Okay, and are we good to keep going? We'll take a quick break. Yeah, let's take a break. We'll take a quick break, Caitlin.
Yep, sounds good.
Dan, you're, planning on attending Energy Alberta's open house tonight.
Well, do you want to make that performance motion first?
We could do that. I guess that would make sense to. So, you said you're gonna help us. word it
Yeah,
properly?
I just, want to kind of amend the wording a bit. Okay. To allow administration to accept. Oh, I have this worded over here. The alternate form of security in lieu of the performance bond requirement. As per section.
Slow down.
Oh, sorry.
In lieu of performance bond requirement?
Yeah. As per section 9.5 of what did we call this again? Tender 25 point GB .10 or sorry, no point. There's 25 point GB 10.
10?
Yeah.
No dot in there?
No dot.
Yeah, I don't know, does the alternate form need to be specified or? Or it's in that section,
Yeah,
because you proposed to us that they were gonna use a grader, right, so I don't know if we have to.
to accept alternate form,
Of security,
yeah, form of security. in the form, after performance bond, Mrs. Tucker? Say in the form of collateral. COLL.
It's not happening. Okay, what?
COLLATERAL.
Thank you.
Thought you were good enough for memory, but you. Oh, no, I'm not that good.
Okay, that'll cover you.
Yeah, that, makes sense.
Okay, just wants to make that motion. Okay, Councillor Reese, all in favor, it's carried. Now we can get to the tenders. The Greater Beats. First one, item A is the Big River Cartridge one.
Okay. Want to make sure I had them in the right order.
Do we have, we don't have them.
Oh, so Garrett's gonna put them
Yeah,
up on the
Garrett's
screen.
gonna put them on the screen.
I thought they were.
They're in
addition.
an addition.
Oh, we didn't get them in, we didn't get them in. No addition.
Did I not send out the addition?
No.
My apologies. Okay.
That was well done.
It's right here. I guess it just didn't get made.
No, that's it.
That's all it's-
Yeah, bring up the Big River one first.
So 2 submissions were received for Keg River. Trailblazers and Sandy Ridge Cattle Company. Trailblazers scored 93% and Sandy Ridge 65. We are recommending to award to Trailblazers as the cost has remained the same. Cost per hour.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Councillor Simpson moves to the order receipt of the tender report for Keg River and award to Trailblazers. All in favor? Carried. Next one.
Block Hills Hotchkiss.
I'll just wait for Garrett to catch up here and I'll put it up on the screen. Yep, the Hawk Kills Hotchkiss one.
So 1 tender was received for this that scored 70%. Mainly because the price went up by 35.1%. Only 1 submission received, so if council wishes, we can re-tender. That's why I didn't. Oh, I guess you can't see the recommendation, but. I'm just letting you guys decide if you want to re-tender or. Award to staff.
Is that the existing contractor, the same, they're just?
Oh, I should have mentioned this. No, but the same operator.
Same, Campbell's still gonna run for them, not just, he's done that before, just changed companies, so.
What is that in dollar value?
I can't say that publicly.
Oh, okay. Just 35.
Yeah.
For last time.
I don't want to get us in hot water.
But maybe these other ones have an increase too, I don't know.
They,
They'll stay
the
same.
first one is the only one that did not increase. Everything else increased. Just kind of. What's that, sir?
Can we go over them, all of them before we?
Well, we could if you guys want.
Well, it's the only one that.
Yeah, if you want, I can keep going.
And not make motions till.
No, yeah, I'm
Because
just.
always did the one, but it never changed, right, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's.
So East Matic Breaking Point, we received 2 submissions. One from Trailblazers, one from RT Grading. Trailblazers scored 85, RT Grading 90. The lowest cost per hour increased by 22.4%, which would be RT Grading's submission, which is why we recommend to go forward with RT Gradings if that's what the council chooses. Next and last one is Deadwood Rhinewood. 1 submission was received. It scored 70%. And the lowest cost per hour, or well, only cost per hour, increased by 31.5%. And so that one, same as the other one that I said, I didn't provide a recommendation because it's up for discussion with only having one submission.
Can you negotiate the cost per hour? Or is that- That's what they,
That's what they put in.
that's, you either accept it or.
What are the implications if we re-tender that? Probably that one.
If we re-tender it and nobody puts in for it, or if they just put it back in and same rate. I don't foresee them putting a lower rate in.
But the whole idea of re-tendering is the hope that someone else would
Yeah.
participate, right?
Yeah, and that's another reason why we, well, not another reason, but we extended our tender period by a week. Try to,
So your opinion is unlikely that we would get further participation.
it's kind of what I'm thinking.
If he's thinking that it's not gonna get anybody.
Some of these areas are tough to,
Not like-
yeah,
And
they're too far north. That's
my own personal opinion on it, the Hot Kills, watch just one, if Cam continues to run it, probably when you're,
So another point as well I would like to make is Deadwood Rhinewood would also be the same operator.
you can do both of the runs? No.
Not Cam, the same operator as what's
Oh, what's currently
currently
there,
there.
right,
Yes.
and he's been very good. And
That's what he's not gonna comment.
I mean, the Hotchkiss Hot Kills were the town, he's top shelf, in my opinion, right?
Oh, no, we really enjoy having Cam there and
He does just excellent work and,
there's not a lot of complaints that come out of that area.
no, so. 35% increase, I guess that's, we're looking at those inflationary costs everywhere, right? So-
And that's kind of, it was pretty well expected that we were gonna see an increase. I was pleasantly surprised to see Cave River not increase.
Yeah. Thanks.
The overhead costs for that contractor are fairly low up there.
Did we got rid of the fuel surcharge for this? tender?
Yes, so there is no fuel surcharge in this tender. If there were to come a point where fuel went through the roof and council wished to do a fuel surcharge, we could look at that. I would, with these increases, I wouldn't, necessarily recommend it, but because they've obviously accounted for increase in operational costs.
So.
So the other
Extra for the machine, like the cost. of the
Machine and just in general, fuel, et cetera, right?
I was just gonna say, the other two, they were both by staff.
Yes.
The last one, right?
No,
Oh.
the previous contract is held by Sorensen Welding.
And he got out of business now, I think.
Not gonna comment.
No, well, he didn't put a bid in anyway.
He did
so-
not put a bid in.
Okay.
So
They were the
basically,
same.
it is what it is.
That's kind of all I think it is. It is.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, we want to just proceed then.
Okay, so we'll make a motion to each one of these then?
Yeah, I need a motion for each one.
Okay, so we got the Cape River one done already, so let's make a motion for the Hotchkiss Hot Kills one.
This- Just before that.
Yep.
Is the first one gonna be very happy if we give a 31% raise to the other ones? Like, I realize,
I can speak to that because that did concern me. I spoke with him and he is fine with that cost.
okay, it's just, that's a lot of money difference. You know,
Yeah, well, I guess that's,
Yeah.
the process was, so.
yeah, well, but to be fair, he's not bidding on the other ones.
So we're not actually
Okay.
seeing- we're not
As long as
actually
he
seeing
knows. Yeah, well,
Yeah, no, I had a conversation with him yesterday.
who's Trailblazers, if you don't mind asking.
Clay Moser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to looking for motion to award the Hot Kills, not just one. Okay, Councillor Reeves, all in favor? carried. And then the East Mountain Breaking Point. Okay, Councillor Sinski makes that motion. Used to be the Sinski. Not the first time I got caught there.
That's it.
All in favor? That's carried. And then, Deadwood Rhino one. Okay, Councillor Reese makes that motion. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, council. Meeting adjourned. What's up?
Yeah.
Are we offline now?
Yeah. Yeah, wait,